Chapter 5733. A huge nebula form appeared, condensing the appearance of the Empress. The red sleeve envelopes the nebula image. A palm shot directly suppressed the 2-6 Tribulations realm. Fan Tianfeng had nothing to do, standing still at a loss. With a stroke of her hand, the female emperor directly threw the 2-6 Tribulation realm powerhouses out of the territory of Yu Kingdom. Go on. The Empress stretched out her hand, motioning for the two to continue fighting. Jian Wushuang swallowed, wondering if he should make another move. However, since I spoke, he can't violate it either. Huh. Fan Tianfeng's expression was a little flustered, and he hurriedly transmitted the sound to the ancestor. At the same time, shot again. Flame body, a fire demon that seemed to have crawled out of purgatory, descended. That is the blood that Fan Tianfeng is proud of. The blood of the flame gods. Fan Tianfeng, the strongest Hui. But in Jian Wushuang's eyes, it was vulnerable. Condensing the power of the stars with both hands. An invisible sword appeared in his hand. You are going to lose. Jian Wushuang said he wouldn't draw his sword, but he didn't say he wouldn't use it. When he condensed the invisible sword, the sword of the starry sky was hung in the royal capital. Billions of sword intent fill the sky. They rushed towards Fan Tianfeng together. At this moment, even if the opponent is struggling, it is useless to burn divine power. Jian Wushuang made billions of swords. The gathered starry sky power, if converted into divine power, would definitely exceed 500,000. He really wants to draw the sword. He doesn't know how strong he will be. Fan Tianfeng was really panicked this time. Retreating constantly, the flame behind her stood in front of her. But this is just a sign. Can't stop it at all. When billions of sword intents rushed in, they were instantly fragmented. I admit defeat. Fan Tianfeng was completely desperate without the resistance of the law. If you really want to resist, she will die. Hundreds of thousands of sword intent gathered into an invisible sword, suspended between Fan Tianfeng's neck. At the same time, the distant sky began to burn, and it turned into a sea of flames in just a moment. In this sea of flames, there is a human face hidden. Flame gods. The ancient wood continent is the strongest in contemporary times. The infinite flame contained in his pair of eyes can kill the 7 Tribulations realm. If you really want to attack Jian Wushuang, I am afraid that the entire Yu country will be destroyed in an instant. However, he saw that Jian Wushuang's cause and effect were deeply entangled with Fan Tianfeng, and he did not directly take action. Empress Fengchen's eyelids throbbed, and her dojo collapsed in an instant. She knew that it was the flame who had arrived. Even in his own dojo, it is absolutely unstoppable. Let's go. The flame god made a dull voice. Jian Wushuang did not intend to kill him, knowing that the flame would not attack him. But being so watched, there is still a great sense of oppression. The same as that Qi Jiuxiao. However, the original Qi Jiuxiao didn't use his full strength. If he really wanted to make a move, he would be stronger than the flame god. Jian Wushuang, we will see each other again. Fan Tianfeng gritted his teeth, turned around and walked through the flame space, and left Yu Kingdom. The flame space in the sky also disappeared. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. Everyone also breathed a sigh of relief. The sense of oppression just now was too strong. Princess Jin Shun, who was sitting in the middle of Longhua, looked at Jian Wushuang's back with fear in her eyes. Only now did she understand that the mysterious powerhouse she met in Baihua Mountain was Jian Wushuang. Emperor 5 Tribulations realm. The strength that Jian Wushuang had just exploded definitely had the combat power of the 4 Tribulations realm. The master of the universe, who can fight for the 4 Tribulations realm. Powerful. Some people feel incredible. Guyu time and space, the first emperor can't be overstated, right? Many people were amazed. Jian Wushuang condensed his aura, and he also felt that he had just taken a shot that seemed a bit ostentatious. Accidentally, the burst of strength was too strong. The main thing is that there is a breath in my heart. Fan Tianfeng's own strength is not very good, but he uses his background to suppress him. This makes him very upset. Everyone is an emperor from the Temple of Qishan. Came to Guyu time and space to save the Temple of Qi, instead of fighting background here. Meaningless. Call. Jian Wushuang glanced around, and returned to Longhu. The big wedding has to go on. Mu Chun looked back at Long Hu, stabilized his emotions, and continued to walk towards the palace. This time the empress was standing outside the palace, waiting for the procession to welcome her. At the same time, several Sixth Tribulation Realm powerhouses arrived. The breath just now, as well as several ancestors in the royal family, were alarmed. Have you found out the details of this, son? A simple voice came into the ears of the empress. The arrogant empress also moved her expression when she heard this voice, and then respectfully said, Ancestor, I have checked. The affairs of Outland are all arranged by Wu Li, not from the background of Jian Wushuang. Then, what about the real background? Can't find out. The empress said truthfully. He appeared out of thin air. Thanks, it seems that the more my country is in a disaster. When she heard what the ancestor said, the empress was stunned, then reacted. The country of Yu is not a powerful country among the 16 countries. The super dynasty of the Eternal Kingdom has not been destroyed for a few years. Today's Guma continent, undercurrents are surging. Everything must be careful. If Jian Wushuang sneaked into Yu country, it was for the belongings of Yu country. Both the empress and the ancestors didn't believe it. Because Jian Wushuang's strength surpassed their cognition. It will never be because of Yu Gua. It might be to hide your identity and do some big thing. What they fear is that they will be implicated in the country of Vietnam at that time. But now Jian Wushuang has been married. There is no way to return it. Can only pray that Jian Wushuang's future will help Yu Gua instead of destroying Yu Gua. Looking at Jian Wushuang's passing figure, this idea was suppressed by her again. She didn't think Jian Wushuang would help Yu Gua. It's good time. After the sharp voice sounded, many guests all took their seats. The ceremony was extremely grand. It lasted from morning to night. Many powerhouses in the hall were discussing Jian Wushuang's strength. On the surface, Yu Gua picked up the treasure, but secretly waited to see the joke. Such a powerful son-in-law was not as cheap as the boy from Shirgua. After Jian Wushuang became the Tribulation Realm, it would not take long for him to become the master of the universe in the 5 Tribulations realm. By then, how could it be subjugated to others? The country of Vietnam will also change. But Wu Li is the biggest winner of the game. Regardless of Jian Wushuang's status, the status of the Wu family has risen in real terms. But Wu Li couldn't be happy from the bottom of his heart. Such a powerful Jian Wushuang is not something he can handle. When the time comes to open Wanlu, there will be some trouble. Although he also has a whole card, that existence cannot appear at will. This big wedding comes down. The audience is happy. However, no one in the Yu royal family and Wu family can be happy. Shisan, the night is late. Jian Wushuang was sitting on the bed alone, while Princess Jin Chun was sending guests away. When I returned to the east, it was late at night. Chapter 57:34. Big husband born in heaven and earth. How can you live on this bed? When Princess Jin Chun walked into the bridal chamber, Jian Wushuang suddenly stood up. His eyes are firm and clear, and his feet are strong, step by step close to each other. You! Princess Jin Chun was a little frightened. She was taken aback for a moment, her purple eyes staring at Jian Wushuang. The feat of Jian Wushuang by Tian Tian really restrained her. Now she also understood that it was not the mysterious 5 Tribulations realm at Baihua Mountain, but Jian Wushuang in front of her. Although there is still some distance from the 5 Tribulations realm, but the current Jian Wushuang could have the combat power of the 4 Tribulations realm. This time Mingmian defeated Tianjiao, the foremost bloodline of the ancient Wood continent, with the displayed combat power. It is already the number 1 in Guyu time and space in contemporary times. Even counting upwards, none of the Emperor Tianjiao of the reincarnation era was as defying as Jian Wushuang. What are you doing? Jin Chun took a step back unconsciously. No matter how powerful Jian Wushuang is, there is only one person in her heart. This will not change. Jian Wushuang approached step by step and stood in front of Jin Chun. After staying for a while, Chang Chang said forcefully, "Let me." Princess Jin Chun was a little puzzled, but took a step back as she did. Jian Wushuang took the opportunity to walk out of the vicinity of the bed and came to a corner. Said it is a corner, But the palace prepared by the royal family for them is not bad. Even in the corner there is a futon. Those who didn't know thought it was specially prepared for Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang directly sat cross-legged on the futon, his eyes closed. Don't worry, I won't touch you. If you are acquainted, I have your handle. You'd better not do anything out of the ordinary. Princess Jinshan held her head up. Jian Wushuang frowned when he heard the word handle, and instantly stood up, his eyes opened, his murderous aura leaked out. The Princess Jinshan, who was still a little proud just now, lowered her head held high when she saw Jian Wushuang's appearance. Don't offend me. I know why you want to join the royal family. Isn't it because of the qualifications of the sacred society? Jinshan said a little emboldened. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. He thought that the matter of taking refuge in Bobby was known. Now that the Holy Assembly qualification token has been obtained, there is nothing to hide. This time I entered the custody. It was nothing more than a clever setting up of a name. If you simply provoke the Tianjiao of the major families to show your own strength, it is likely to be abandoned halfway. Come to Guyu time and space. Every time he broke out, it seemed to be for himself, but every time he fought for others. On the bright side, Zhang Shizhou and Fan Tianfeng have exaggerated backgrounds. Secretly, he first showed his prominence in Baihua Mountain, and then broke out in the Eternal Realm. They are all famous teachers. You can't just provoke others to explode your strength for no reason, and then wait for the Gumu faction or some superpowers to draw in. This will not only fail to be cultivated, but will lose your life instead. The trip to the human world in the Temple of Qishan made him see the terrible family. It's okay to be a dog. Pride of the day. It simply doesn't work. Even now, it is because of Wu Li's identity that he can enter this upper world. Sometimes strength is not absolute. For example, he is just an emperor after all. Even if the fighting power of the Four Tribulations realm erupts, it is still the emperor. If there is no background, it is worthless, and it will be squeezed out by those superpowers, or even beheaded. After all, this world has so many resources, and if one power rises, there will be one more rival. Jian Wushuang knew this well. That's why Wu Li's plan was carried out step by step. This also shows that Wu Li was the mastermind of this game, and even understood the chains of this world early. If you want the family to rise to another level, then there must be a peerless powerhouse. He pressed the treasure on himself. There are only a few tribulation realms in the Wu family, and they are not as talented as him. The family background is also very shallow. After all, resources are still limited. If you want to get more resources, you must become stronger. So he dared to peer into Wanlu Shenmu. It was his luck that he got the wooden sword, with the vitality power matching the 10,000 willow sacred tree above it. Most likely, it is a treasure flowing out of Wanlu Shenmu. This is an opportunity and a catastrophe. Grasp it, and make it to the sky in one step. It is not a problem to become the master of the universe in the Five Tribulations realm. Maybe it can go further and create a superpower. If you are not sure, then run away. This is nothing, anyway. The Wu family now ranks in the top 10 in a small dynasty like you. Looking at the ancient Wood continent, it can only be regarded as a force with a name but no surname. He doesn't like that little resource either. Jian Wushuang's thoughts were not as simple as Wu Li's. In the face of it, he wants to open Wanlu, and secretly cooperates with Bobby D. His goal is not only the ancient Wood continent, but even to be involved in the entire Guyu time-space dispute. As long as there are disputes, there will be opportunities. If Emperor Bobby can really overturn Guyu time and space, then he can also get a lot of benefits. Bao can't press them all together. He wants a long layout. The current strength is still too weak. You need to take risks if you want to rise. Following Bobby D is an adventure, and opening Wanlu is also an adventure. As long as one succeeds, he can fly into the sky, return to the Temple of Forbidding God to solve the extinction. He can directly disregard all time and space. At that time, he would have the real strength and patience to find Teacher Xian Yi and take a look at the future world. He now needs to struggle constantly. Yu Kingdom, Southeast China. A white figure, like a stream of light, broke through the space and flew at an extremely fast speed. On his body, there is still a breath of Jian Wushuang. This person, it was Jian Wushuang who refined the chess pieces of the font size and injected them into the life-recovering Five Tribulations realm powerhouse. Zibai, the day before the wedding, Jian Wushuang released Zibai out and waited near the capital. For the grand marriage of the future female emperor of the Yu Kingdom, many powerful people will come, and there will be some in the Five Tribulations realm. Not afraid of being discovered, Zibai waited outside. He took the opportunity to select prey. Among the top 10 families, the top 3 are all 6 Calamity Realm powerhouses. That was the superpower that existed before the establishment of Yu Kingdom. Although it is now dilapidated, there is no master of the universe who has come to the Five Tribulations realm. But there are still old monsters in the Dispersion realm in the family. Of these 3 families, Jian Wushuang would naturally not take risks. The remaining 10 families. He also looks down on forces like the Wu family at the end. Finally placed in the 5th-ranked family, Chen family. Rise several times ago. The master of the universe, whose family has gone out of the Five Tribulations realm, has also opened a 5-star sect. The Lord of the Universe in the Five Tribulations realm fell, and the sect was also destroyed, turned into clan power. Several cosmic masters of the Four Tribulation realm have appeared one after another, and all of them have failed to overcome the tribulation and become the dispersing tribulation realm. Chapter 5735. Today, the strongest in the family is a universe lord of the Three Tribulations realm, and his strength is not as good as Wu Li. Even in one's own universe, the combat power of the ordinary Four Tribulations realm can burst out. If it were not for the glory of the ancestors, it would not rank 5th. There are also a few old-fashioned scattered robbers in the family, all of which are in the Fourth Tribulation realm. It's a good choice. Jian Wushuang's wisp of consciousness turned into an erratic human form, moving forward in Zibai's light and shadow. Go to the universe of the Lord of the Universe first. Yes. Zibai didn't hesitate. His figure quickly rose up, and he walked directly toward the universe conceived in the void. An elliptical universe like stars in the void. If you look closely, you can see the internal structure. There are only more than 1,000 black holes. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Too weak. This kind of universe is in the eyes of a time-space emperor like him. Works that spoil the space. Not worthy to survive. Kill it. Yes. Zibai turned into light and shadow, and directly pierced the universe. The origin of everything that envelopes the universe collapses in an instant, as well as the formations are constantly being corroded. This is a precursor to the destruction of the source. Who? An angry sound rang, and then angrily said, "Dare to break into my universe, you are looking for death." Zibai stopped, and after looking at the figure inside the origin of the universe, a smile leaked from the corner of his mouth. There is also an extra folding fan in his hand, lightly dancing. Seems to be partial sun. However, in the next moment, he became an demon who destroys the world. His figure soared to hundreds of millions of miles in an instant, his whole body exuding colored light and shadow. And without waiting for the other party's reaction, his punch hit the origin of the universe. With just one punch, the black hole that carries the universe collapsed 100. The Lord of the Universe went from furious to horror in an instant. One punch destroyed 100 black holes. Now the universe has been hit hard. With a few more punches, I'm afraid his universe will be destroyed directly. Ancestors, save me. As soon as a cry of wailing sounded, it was completely dimmed. On a certain continent in the southeastern China, the Chen family sounded the alarm for genocide. What happened? What happened? Look, Patriarch's universe is collapsing. With the noisy voice sounded, people kept breaking out and flying into the sky. The universe of the contemporary patriarch is just above the clan land, and they can see it when they look up. A star keeps flickering. This is the signal before the collapse. Several Four Tribulation realm powerhouses in the depths of the clan gathered together in an instant. The law bodies of the Lord of the Three Tribulations realm cosmos was also there. Run away. Go to the capital. After Chen family patriarch said these words, the law body shattered. This also represents the fall of the deity. The ancestors' eyes throbbed, but they were all people who had experienced big winds and waves, and they reacted in an instant. People in the family cannot be saved. But that is not important. The Tianjiao in the family is either in Gumu sect or Qingyan sect. There are also some strong players out there. Those who stayed in the family were some junior emperors, or immortal immortals and some mortals. These can be cultivated. As long as the robbery is still alive, if the family treasure is still there, they will be able to rise again. A few people arrived at the treasure house in an instant. At the same time, a huge teleportation formation rose up. This teleportation array also carries a treasure trove. The treasure house is a single cave world. You can't enter at all at ordinary times. Once the family enters the moment of crisis, the treasure house will open the teleportation array and fall into the turbulence of moments. Only the few talents appointed by the family can sense where they are. Around the treasure house, there are 4 huge pillars. The 4 ancestors, one by one, sat cross-legged on the top. They don't need to manipulate the big formation, only need to guard the big formation. Even if you fall, you must make sure to leave the teleportation treasure house. The rest of the robbery realm in the family can escape if they can, and ordinary emperors don't care about it. The talented seedlings are scattered and fleeing. All this is in order. It seems to have been rehearsed. The response is extremely fast. Even Jian Wushuang, who had just arrived here, was a bit stunned. Look at it at a glance. The Qin family's nest was scattered all over. But these scattered powerhouses are no different from waste. Poor and weak. He didn't even feel a catastrophe, apparently already ran away. Jian Wushuang felt a faint atmosphere of space. If it is an ordinary strong person, it is difficult to feel even in the tribulation realm. But Jian Wushuang is an emperor of time and space, and he is very sensitive to this kind of induction. Not good. That breath is a space-time teleportation array. Jian Wushuang took out a mask at will and put it on. The aura on his body was restrained and contracted, and then directly squeezed a seed. That is the power of the starry sky condensed from the deity. The blue power rose instantly. Jian Wushuang slammed into the big formation. At the same time, he also transmitted the location of this place to Zibai. This teleportation array must be destroyed. Otherwise, this time he would come in vain. Only at this time Zibai was still scraping away the treasures in the universe. If he doesn't stop it, he will have to leave when he is discovered by the strong man in the nearby universe. Don't worry, come to the Qin family first. Jian Wushuang directly transmitted the voice command. This formation is 10 times stronger than the one in the universe. He can guess even with his butt, and this treasure trove is set in it. Ha ha ha. Jian Wu appeared invisibly in his hands. At this time, he was not afraid of others' suspicion, and he went straight out with all his strength. This sword shook the entire formation. It was blocked for a moment. The 4 ancestors glared. The power of that sword just now was almost equal to the strength of the ordinary 4 tribulations realm. Similar to the 4 of them. I'll drag him. A strong man with the most withered face stood up. He is the oldest 4 tribulations realm in the family. It is also the 4 tribulations realm with the least vitality. It's time for him to dedicate himself. Gongsong great-grandfather. The 3-4 tribulation realm powerhouses who also have the title of ancestor bowed one after another at this moment. Regarding seniority, they all have to call their great-grandfather. This powerful man in the dispersion realm had followed the existence of the master of the 5 tribulation realm universe, who opened the family. Now they are facing downfall. Dare to attack my Qin family, is not afraid of the royal family. The thin old man, even at this moment, did not forget to delay time. Jian Wushuang didn't talk nonsense at all, constantly attacking the formation. It doesn't look at each other. Although the opponent has the combat power of the 4 tribulations realm, it is hard to say how long they can fight. Maybe there are no 2 tricks, all vitality will be lost, and only the flesh will be left. Jian Wushuang dodged at will, avoiding a punch from the old man. Hold the Excalibur upside down and leave precariously. Changed a place, and continued to destroy the big formation. Said to destroy, in fact it is interference. His current combat power is not enough to destroy this large formation. Even his deity can't do it. Chapter 5736. This great formation was definitely created for the family, at the peak of the Five Tribulations realm universe master. Unless it is a superpower in the Five Tribulations realm, it can't be broken at all. Zibai's transformed and demon directly descended on the sacred mountain, above the teleportation array. Jianwu was overjoyed and said loudly, "Despite everything, I broke him." After hearing these words, Zibai's eyes condensed, directly burning his own origin. He is also considered to be in the Scattered Tribulation realm, and even worse than the Scattered Tribulation realm. As long as the Dispersal Tribulation realm does not take action, it can still slowly gather vitality. Unless it has existed for too long, and even the seeds of life have disappeared, it will wither completely. Zibai is different. He was the one who had died. Even if he was revived, it was only his strength for a moment. Once the source is burned out, it will fall completely. And Zibai, after burning the origin, possesses the power of the pinnacle of the Five Tribulations realm. For arms grew from behind, with 3 ugly heads. The strongest magical powers in ancient times, the pinnacle of the heavens and the earth, directly displayed 3 times the combat power. The entire formation was torn apart. Jianwu was overjoyed. He didn't expect it would break so easily. Everything is done in a few breaths. The ancestors of the Chen family looked dizzy and completely lost their confidence. "I want you to die." The 4 ancestors gave their lives one after another, exhausting the last bit of life in his whole body, and the little blood left when he was young. He chose to blow himself up. To Daimingji, the family is over, and these old guys are useless alive. Crucially, Jian Wushuang would not let them live either. At the moment when they blew themselves up, Zibai also exhausted his whole Bodhi's origin, giving Jian Wushuang the terrifying power of nirvana at the moment. Boom! The huge and demon fell. Together with the flesh began to break. The teleportation array was also destroyed. Now only a piece of mutilation remains. And Jian Wushuang's law body. Wow! Behind Jian Wushuang, a black hole appeared, directly collecting all the wreckage into the black hole behind it. Turning around and taking a look, Jian Wushuang took out a source of destruction from the mustard seeds in the chaotic Qin family land. This was originally brought out from the Temple of Qishan. I was thinking of swallowing it myself. Now he doesn't lack this, just bloom here. Chi. Jian Wushuang tore through the space, and the law body stepped away. Behind him was a dark flower blooming. The Qin family land was wiped out. Although it's midnight, you can practice in the world day and night. Similarly, there is no distinction between black and white. The Qin family was wiped out. "Master, have you seen it?" Someone looked up to the sky, offering sacrifices to their master. Someone also bowed down to the Qin family. There are enemies and benefactors. There are also some missing items. Jian Wushuang took away the treasure house, but he could not take away some fixed resources. This side of the site was quickly eroded by the nearby forces. But this is all for later. Jian Wushuang's law body threw a mustard seed on a meteorite through space, and the law body was destroyed by itself. That meteorite, mixed in the turbulent current, has hundreds of millions of the same rubble nearby, surrounding a burning star. And here there are countless stars. It's like purgatory. Deity. Early the next morning, Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen left the room early and went to the palace to meet the empress. This is regarded as the rule of the royal family. In the morning, it was the time for Shang dynasty. However, in the main hall of the palace, only Jian Wushuang and Princess Jin Chen are real bodies, and the rest are law bodies. They descended instantly and appeared on their respective thrones. The empress also appeared at the end. "Your Majesty, the Chen family has been destroyed. According to the latest investigation, it looks like a magician giant shot. 3 years ago, the Eternal Kingdom was destroyed, and now the Chen family is wiped out in a single thought, and the remaining power is too strange to ask questions. Many people are more resistant to probing. The kingdom of God, like the Eternal Kingdom, will be destroyed. Not to mention Yu Gua. It's better not to check, it's more at this juncture. Moreover, he was still working on the night of the eldest prince's wedding, which was obviously premeditated. Sitting on the top, the empress slowly raised her hand with her fingers soaked in ink and scribbled randomly on a gold list. Regarding the Chen family's affairs, she didn't care about it. A family died, and it is also the top 5 big family in Vietnam. It was a big deal, but at this time, she didn't have any worries. The heart is like water. After the sacred meeting is over, do further investigation. The empress' tone was very casual. Compared with this incident, what she wants to announce next is the real big thing. When everyone heard the next words, everyone was shocked. The 16 kingdoms of grass. Ranked first is the Stone Kingdom, not only as simple as having appeared in the 8 tribulations realm, but also guarded by the flame gods. There is no need to say the third eternal kingdom. The Lord of the universe with the 6 tribulations realm for generations is extremely stable, but unfortunately it has now been destroyed, and the space has been directly wiped out. There is no eternal kingdom in the world. The first and third places have special places. Among the 16 countries, the second place is also unusual. Daughter country. What the Empress announced this time was that the Lord of the Daughter Kingdom successfully crossed the tribulation and became the Lord of the 7 tribulations realm universe. Originally, this country lord was as famous as Shi Xiu, the lord of the first universe in the Stone Country. In terms of fame, it is not even as good as Shi Xiu of Zhongxing Shigua. The two are in the same position as the men of the ancient Wood continent, and the future will depend on the existence of the 7 tribulations realm. There are only so many masters of the 6 tribulations realm universe in Gumu continent today. Many people think that Shi Xiu will be the fastest breakthrough, but they did not expect to be the leader of the daughter country. There was also a strange color on the face of the Empress. Her brows frowned, as if she was reminiscing about something. It's just that now everyone is more shocked. Master of 7 tribulations realm universe. When Jian Wushuang heard this, he also took a breath of cold air. The realm of the gods at the beginning. This is not the realm of scattered robbery. That is the real master of the universe. There is almost no gap between the masters of the 7 tribulations realm universe in the entire ancient Wood continent and the number of powerhouses in the 8 tribulations realm. There are only 2 or 3 people in Gumu continent. There is one of the Gumu sect, who is the ancestor of the school, who used to open up the Guyu time-space sect era together with the leader of the Guyu sect. It is the oldest batch of 8 tribulations realm. Then there are the ancestors of the Stone Country and the Flame Gods. The last is the ancestor of the Daughter Country. However, the 8 tribulations realm of the Daughter Kingdom has fallen. And the era of fall has been a long time ago. There are only 4 8 tribulations realm, and one has fallen. The Wood King of the ancient Wood School is too old, and there is not much vitality, and I am afraid that it is not far from the end. The only one who can tell is the Flame God. The ancestor of Shigua didn't work either. Chapter 5737. And the Lord of the 7 tribulations realm universe is also rare. And they are all in the sect. One is the contemporary leader of the Gumu sect. The other is a superpower from the ancient Moon sect to the ancient Wood continent. He is a powerful man named Iron Courage. Except for the 19 super beings who opened the sect at the time, most of the powerful kings have fallen or left Guyu time and space. The strongest person is almost the person with the highest position in time and space, and the strongest strength in Guyu. The masters of the 7 tribulations realm universe, who can be entrusted, are all peak powers of the same rank. In his own dojo, it can be comparable to the peak 8 tribulations realm. It is conceivable that even the person in charge of the Gumu sect was not sealed. Now the daughter of the country's master has successfully crossed the catastrophe. Besides the sect, he was the first 7 tribulation realm universe master. It is also the 3rd contemporary master of the universe of the 7 tribulations realm in Gumu continent. Within the dojo, there is the infinite vitality of the 8 tribulations realm combat power. Everyone is envious. Most of the people present are the masters of the universe. However, most of them are in the 3 tribulations realm, and only a few are the masters of the four tribulations realm of the universe. As for the Lord of the universe in the five tribulations realm, the entire Yu kingdom is also the female emperor of the royal family. Moreover, the female emperor is still the master of the universe of the six tribulations realm, and is only one step away from crossing the tribulation. In the entire Gumu continent, the female emperor's combat power in the same tier, faintly ranked first. This is also the reason why Yu Gua has been emboldened recently, now only need to move forward steadily to compete for the position of the saint. Now that the daughter of the country's master has successfully crossed the catastrophe, the Gumu sect saint of the same name may be coming soon too. Regardless of success or failure, it must give way. The position of the female emperor for the saint can be said to be determined. Not surprisingly, it should be her. Well, there is nothing else to do today, so let's go away first. The empress waved her hand, a little tired, but there was a little oppression on his face. That is brought about by strength. The lord of the daughter country, the empress closed her eyes and thought about it carefully. The two at the time, they are a generation. Even in her age, she is much older than the daughter of the country's lord. When she achieved the immortal, the daughter of the country's lord had just embarked on the road of spiritual practice. When she was at the limit of Daojun, the other party had already caught up with her. That innocent and romantic girl, she vaguely remembered that face. During the time when I went to the Guma school to practice, that girl, she did not follow behind her. Now she has reached a position that she dare not even think about. The Lord of the Seven Tribulations realm universe. She really didn't think about it. In the sixth calamity, she was a little struggling. Not to mention the Seven Tribulations realm. If she could also become the master of the universe of the Seven Tribulations realm, the contemporary Yu kingdom could rank in the top 3 of the 16 kingdoms. Because of the disappearance of the eternal kingdom, there is an extra place. But the resources are not much. The entire eternal kingdom is gone. Empress Fengchen rubbed her eyebrows, and the phantom on the other throne had disappeared. Jian Wushuang and Princess Jinshan were also walking outside. Before stepping out of the threshold, he was stopped by a voice. Jian Wushuang was taken aback for a moment, then turned around and said respectfully, "What else is your majesty?" Although he is already a family, according to the rules of the country, he still has to call your majesty. The lord of the kingdom of the daughter of the kingdom of the seven tribulations. All parties will congratulate, and we cannot be less than the country. This time you too will go with the ancestors of the clan mansion. After speaking, a scroll flew out and fell in front of Princess Jinshan. Mother Queen. Jinshan was a little surprised, and still picked up the scroll for a moment. Jian Wushuang looked at him with enthusiasm, not knowing what it was. "Get out," the empress said, and her figure disappeared faintly. With full of doubts, the two walked out of the main hall, speechless all the way, and went straight back to the mansion in the royal capital below. As soon as he entered the luxurious mansion, Jian Wushuang couldn't help but ask, "What is that scroll?" In the hall, he noticed that Empress Fengchen had written something on it. When it was handed over to Jin Chun, he didn't say much. "This scroll is definitely not simple. I don't know." Princess Jin Chun walked towards the back garden with her little hand on her back. Jian Wushuang originally planned to get back the hidden mustard seed, but in his heart he was extremely curious about the scroll. Followed to the back garden. He didn't get better in this mansion. Only after arriving in the back garden did I realize that this is the garden, and the whole is Yihua Mountain. Halfway up the mountain, among countless glamorous flowers, there is an ice pool. The two were sitting in the pavilion next to the ice pool. The cool breeze has passed, making people happy. "I've said it, I can't open it." Jin Chun got a little annoyed, took out the scroll directly, and gave it to Jian Wushuang. He took it carefully, gently holding the scroll, and complained, "I don't know the goods, this is a baby, you can't be so spoiled." Jin Chen's large Shui Lingling eyes rolled his eyes. "But in the bottom of my heart is a cold snort. This scroll is a gift from her mother's queen to her daughter's country lord, and only the person involved can open it. It's just that when it was handed over to her, it didn't make it clear, but Transhan informed her. Although Jian Wushuang entered the royal family, but it doesn't mean it's one's own. Jian Wushuang can go to show his face. But there is no Jian Wushuang's share in important matters related to interests. Holding the scroll, Jian Wushuang, who has won the most precious treasure, doesn't know what the other party thinks. At this time, he had only one thought, and that was to open the scroll and want to take a look. He is not all curiosity either. Never mind. This time, I was really curious. He didn't want to quibble, because in the hall, he and Emperor could see the female emperor's frown and some strange smells. This empress must have some kind of connection with the daughter of the country master. Regarding the relationship between the Empress Fengqian and the Lord of the Daughter Kingdom, only some universe masters in the 5 tribulations realm, and even the 6 tribulations realm know. Only a few people of that generation have survived to this day, either died midway, or died outside the battlefield. Considered for a moment in his hand, Jian Wushuang saw the power of restraint from above. Very peculiar. That power seemed to be borrowed from somewhere. It's like the power of the starry sky that he peeped into the starry sky. The more you can't see through, he was more curious. I want to go and take a look. So that he didn't even care about business affairs. The most important thing for him now is to retrieve the treasure trove from the Chen family, as well as the future plans with Wu Li that need to be finalized one by one. Now there is not much time left before the holy meeting. He also needs to build a sword embryo. For the robbery he was almost ready. Breakthrough is not a problem. The problem is how to go further. When he broke through the tribulation realm, it was the day he became the Lord of the universe. By then, his sword embryo will also become a treasure of the universe. It can be regarded as the first cosmic treasure bred by the original universe. Chapter 5738. It is very important to him, but he intends to infuse all his kendo into it by then. Create a treasure to promote each other with him. Naturally be careful. It's a pity that time has been rushed this time. He didn't expect to be able to make breakthroughs so quickly, so he hasn't been in a hurry. I am embracing the Buddha's feet now. I don't know if it will be too late. After pondering the scroll carefully, Jian Wushuang stretched out his hand. A trace of blue power poured into it. When Jinchen saw this, his eyes shrank and threatened. The Queen Mother said, "Only the Lord can open it. If you dare to open it now, it is a felony." "Thanks, Tusk, it's the same as I guessed." Jian Wushuang smiled, shook his head, and then reluctantly returned the scroll to Jinchen. But the bottom of his heart was a sneer. The power radiated just now is for the other party to see. When he first touched the scroll, he injected a force into the scroll. It was just blocked by the ban. With the time in his hand, he used the power of the starry sky to constantly test. Peeped at the contents of the scroll long ago. What I did just now is just to blow up Jinchen and see what the Empress said to her. Little girl film, play with him. Not even close. Jian Wushuang walked out of the pavilion regretfully. What are you going to do? Jinchen couldn't help but ask when Jian Wushuang was a little lonely. Go home. Jian Wushuang replied irritably. The figure changed, and he left the mansion directly. Wu family. He was not in a hurry to fetch the mustard seed from the turbulent flow of time and space. Instead, he went to Wu's house and looked for Wu Li to find out about the Sure Kingdom's caste of gods. By the way, talk about the current situation again, and ask what else to prepare before the congregation. Just entered Wu mansion. Wu Li hurried over. Why are you coming back so fast? Wu Li's eyes were full of surprise. I got married yesterday, and I came back less than noon the next day. Jian Wushuang walked straight into the backyard and joked as he walked. Why, those who married out, the water poured out. It's hard to get over water. He is different. That's not what I meant. I'm afraid the royal family will misunderstand. Wu Li laughed and followed into the backyard. Since discovering that Jian Wushuang's strength surpassed him, he has lowered his posture by 1 level. Jian Wushuang came to the backyard, randomly found a place to sit down and said, Brother Wu Li, this time I have a business to come here. Say. Wu Li's expression became serious when he heard it. Now Jian Wushuang said that there was a business matter. He was indeed very solemn. Maybe it was something big. Jian embryo. Jian Wushuang said about his own affairs, and wanted Wu Li to pay attention to him. After Wu Li heard it, it was not difficult. By the way, the embryo matter was also explained to Jian Wushuang in detail. There are many types of embryos. There are also many levels. For example, congenital embryos are the most precious innate embryos. The embryo of the eternal treasure is the eternal embryo. The embryo of the treasure of the universe is naturally the embryo of the universe. Creating a universe embryo is no less than creating a universe. When Jian Wushuang heard it, his expression moved. Fortunately, he ransacked the Chen family last night. In terms of treasures, it should be enough. Divine power dominates time and space. How many treasures can it cost to build a universe? Jian Wushuang smiled and told Wu Li to open up and say, let alone the ordinary ones. Just say the kind that is the strongest. And he wants to build that kind. Wu Li was a little embarrassed but went on to say, in fact, I want to create a universe embryo that matches me perfectly, and it is also related to me. Not the stronger the better. Jian Wushuang rubbed his chin and nodded for Wu Li to continue. Let me give you an analogy. The cosmic embryo I created at the beginning is also a sword embryo. According to the structure of my universe at the time, I have embedded 100 black hole spaces in the embryo, reaching 1/10 of my universe. 1. It is also the limit state of most people. The universe is not too strenuous to cultivate. It only accounts for 1/10 of the origin. If so, Jian Wushuang would need to be embedded with thousands of black holes. It was 10 times stronger than the limit state, Wu Li said. Even if the power is different, the combat power is 100 times stronger. Jian Wushuang didn't feel that suffocating feeling. His own strength is not 100 times stronger than ordinary emperors. 1,000,000 times is said to be small. In front of him, no matter how many emperors are, they are also ants. The sword embryo he wants to build must at least have a gap of 108,000 times. 108,000? Jian Wushuang thought from the bottom of his heart. This number is good. If the sword embryo is inlaid with 108,000 black holes, plus 8,600 cosmic mysteries. Jian Wushuang grasped the outline. Watching Jian Wushuang fell into thinking, Wu Li talked about the casting gods. Speaking of this cast god, Guo ranked first. Jian Wushuang agreed. He had heard from the beginning that it was also because of the flame god. For the cast god, the flame is the most needed. The kingdom of gods with infinite flames. This is naturally not lacking. Therefore, many talents will recognize Guo as the gods more. Bacchus. Wu Li said a name. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. And he had also heard of this title. The pinnacle master in the Stone Kingdom, although not a member of the royal family, is a guest of the Stone Royal family. The treatment is even better than those of the royal family. The strength of the 6 tribulations realm is comparable to the 7 tribulations realm. You know? Jian Wushuang asked curiously. When Wu Li heard that, he shook his head and teased herself. I was just a poor boy back then. If there are treasures, please move that person. Right. The original Wu Li was a casual cultivator. It's not bad to go to your country to find a casting master. How can you be qualified to let Bacchus take action? However, the existence that created the sword embryo for me is a disciple of Bacchus, a powerhouse of the 4 tribulations realm. And that's not bad, Wu Li said with some pride. He was not as cool as Jian Wushuang now. Not only the strength is against the sky, but the background is also very hard. It was stepping on the Wu family and entering the Yu royal family. Strong background and stronger strength. If you are willing to use the relationship between the royal family of Vietnam, Com may really be able to please that Bacchus. The Bacchus has stayed in the kingdom of God built by the flame god for many years. Then I thought about it. Jian Wushuang had just offended Ho Yi, who was extremely valued by the flame god. Feeling out of it again. If Fan Tianfeng had been careful, Jian Wushuang wouldn't even want to create a sword embryo from Guo. It's over. Seeing Wu Li's expression, Jian Wushuang also thought that he had offended Fan Tianfeng. This time it was self-breaking. He also forgot this. Headache. On being careful. There are 10 people in Qishan Temple, and Fan Feng is the least minded. Chapter 5739. Now that I changed my name, am also careful. Jian Wushuang sighed in his heart, not thinking about this, but talking to Wu Li about the destruction of the Chen family. Although in the hall, the Empress doesn't care. But he was also afraid that nothing could be checked. Wu Li didn't know much about this matter. The deity has also been to the scene and chatted with those who were investigating. Nothing was found. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. Next, he talked about the daughter country. For the daughter country, he didn't catch a cold, but he was very curious about the matter of the Empress and the daughter country leader. In the scroll, he spied some tricks. That is a painting. 2 women are drawn. One is the female Emperor Fengchen of Yu Kingdom, but she was a little surprised in her dress. Man disguised as a woman. This kind of trick will be exposed in the ordinary. The Empress also played. The other is the Lord of the daughter country, a beautiful and lovely woman. Looking at that portrait, it is natural not to see that it is a great power in the 7 tribulations realm. When Wu Li heard about her daughter country, she grinned first, then solemnly said, I don't know much about this matter. This time you are blessed. You can follow a certain ancestor of the Yu country to congratulate the master of the country. I want to take a look. Not that qualified. This is also true. At that time, the force is going to congratulate. I am afraid that the bottom line is all 6-star sections. Leading forces like Guma School and Stone Kingdom will also go. The strong men of the Yu royal family will not be conspicuous among them. Not to mention the Wu family, a family that hangs at the end when they cross. A glimpse of the honor of the Lord of the 7 tribulations realm. It is indeed a rare opportunity. At that time, just drop by to Shirgua. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If Brother Wu Li is willing, I can bring you a few specialties from the daughter country. Wu Li couldn't help laughing when he heard it. Naturally, I know what the specialty of the daughter country is. The 2 chatted about Wanlu for a while, and then Jian Wushuang quietly left, leaving Wang Du directly. After making a change in the outside world, after a circle, he returned to the mansion prepared by the royal family for him again. When he entered the mansion, he found a familiar atmosphere in the mansion. Lord Mu Chun, Wushuang nephew, it's just noon, and today I will cheekily have a meal with you. Mu Chen's face was full of smiles. Since seeing Jian Wushuang's strength yesterday, Mu Chen felt that Jian Wushuang was a rare thigh. I won't be worse than my sister in the future. A character who can be compared to the Empress. Naturally get close. Uncle Huang joked. I have today, thanks to you. Don't talk about a meal. Even if I come every day, I have to wait for you. Jian Wushuang said this string of words, very useful. Mu Chen on the table, he is smiling. Jin Chun on the side couldn't stand it anymore, and urged. What are the arrangements for going to the daughter country? You girl, you are just anxious. Wushuang's sage nephew just came back, and it's never too late to talk about it. Mu Chen was afraid that Jian Wushuang didn't know his intentions, so he had to say it. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang hurriedly said, but it's okay to say it. Next, Mu Chen talked about the whole itinerary. In fact, it is a departure time. Depart tomorrow afternoon. Just arrive at the daughter country before dark. Congratulations, just 1 night. This time only 3 people went to Vietnam. An ancestor of the 6 tribulations realm in the royal family brought Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen together. The ancestor Mu Chun will take you too. Remember to be respectful to the ancestors, and to be in awe of the strong from all sides. Mu Chen finally added, there are many strong from all sides, so don't overdo it. Zhang Yang, when the holy meeting is coming, there can be no mistakes in this kind of thing. Understand? Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen nodded together. On the occasion of the holy meeting, Vietnam is a big hit this time. It's too much publicity, and it's unlucky to be calculated in private. When Jian Wushuang agreed, he also said about his going to Shirgua. Jin Chen's expression changed slightly when he heard Shirgua. Mu Chen was a little embarrassed, but Jian Wushuang didn't care. Sword embryo, it is very important, we must go. Jian Wu is bilingual and firm. Mu Chen said politely. I need help, you can say it. Must. This time he didn't say anything. Mu Chen went back to his house after a while. Jin Chen went back to the room alone. Jian Wushuang went to the special training place in the mansion. Absolute space. Enter into a cave in the sky. This space is a black hole derived from his universe. Absolutely hidden. The outside is a secret room inside the mansion. After entering this cave sky, Jian Wushuang took out the mustard seed. Grasping for a moment, he directly threw it out, and his thought power moved to the heavens and fell into the cave. The ordinary wreckage was instantly swallowed and absorbed by the power of the black hole. From the wreckage, Jian Wushuang found 4 conch shells. There is the breath of the universe above. It should be a universe-level cave. Extravagance, or too many treasures in storage, need space in the universe to store them. Jian Wushuang is looking forward to it. But he didn't rush to open these 4 caves. Instead, a piece of black crystal was taken out of the mustard. This was discovered by Zibai in the Qin family universe. First open this crystal to see what treasures there are, Jian Wushuang pointed out, and directly broke the upper restriction. Forcibly open the crystal. Click. A mustard seed is inlaid inside. Presumably, when the master of the universe was desperate, he chose to seal up all the treasures in his universe. It's a pity that Zibai can't escape the search. It was still found. In fact, there are still a lot of cosmic crystals in Zibai's body. But unfortunately, after burning the source, he went to block the attack for him, and he collapsed. And those cosmic crystals were also exhausted. Jian Wushuang didn't care about that little universe crystal anymore. On the contrary, I feel a little sorry for Zibai's fall. A good helper in the 5 tribulations realm. That's it. Now he wants to refine a chess piece, but he doesn't have that strength. You can only refining the chess pieces of the general size when you wait for the robbery realm. Call. Jian Wushuang took a breath, holding the endless illusion, and opened the mustard seed sealed by the Lord of the Universe. Yu reading www.akanshu.com. Wow. Countless treasures tilted down instantly. When he saw these treasures, he was a little surprised at first, but he quickly reacted. In the universe of the Chun family, all the people living in the universe are the ordinary children of the Chun family. Some clansmen who are weak or simply can't set foot in the practice. If they are in the country of you, I am afraid they will live very poorly. It's different in the universe. It's entirely the Chun family's own place. Even if they can't practice, they can give them a perfect life. Therefore, the treasures stored in the mustard seeds are for ordinary use. There are also some treasures used by immortals. Although the number is staggering, enough to be used by hundreds of millions of people, it is of no use to him. Chapter 5740. Fortunately, there is also the treasure of the Lord of the Universe. Some well-known treasures of the universe are definitely unusable and will be doubted. The Chun family was just destroyed. He used the treasures of the Chun family, and a fool would do it. Some treasures can be swallowed, and the ones that cannot be swallowed are destroyed. There are also some unheard of. After all, apart from a few treasures that a practitioner can represent, most of the treasures are whole cards, which are easily hidden from others. It's like a treasure in his own body. Many people know that he has a sort of decisive cloud, as well as a beast weapon. For other treasures, less is known. One reason. The same goes for others. Except for the unusable treasures, he simply didn't look at the remaining rubbish. The only thing that can be used is some strange things. It should have been obtained from the void outside the domain, and the value is not bad. According to his estimation, the value exceeds tens of billions. However, a cosmic master of the 3 tribulations realm, the actual benefits he can get are only tens of billions. It's a bit of a disadvantage. Of course, there are some treasures that he can't see through. 3 pieces of red metal. I don't know what material they are. They are extremely tough. And there is this breath on the top. He doesn't care about this. The most important thing is the treasures in the Chun family treasury. Don't get me some mundane treasures. Jian Wushuang couldn't help but complain. The wreckage is exhausted, leaving the cave sky. Only some forbidden power. He couldn't be the master at all. A palm shot directly destroys the prohibition of the cave, together with the internal spatial structure. Wow! In front of him, a colorful breath burst out instantly. A closer look, this is qi, but a real treasure. It's just that there are too many condensed together, very similar to the breath. The cave sky is broken, but the general structure is still there. There are 3 areas in total, represents 3 treasures. Jian Wushuang had seen the colorful treasures, which were clusters of purple crystals. His breathing became a little deep. A treasure from the extension of the universe crystal. It's like piled up with cosmic crystals. Jian Wushuang looked around. It was a majestic mountain. At least 100 billion cubic meters. Converted into a universe crystal. It is an incalculable quantity. Source stone. Jian Wushuang thought of the information he had opened at Qinjianmen. Recognized these spars. This is the purest source stone of divine power. And it is very useful in Guyu time and space. It is not as good as the universe crystal when placed in the Qi temple. But in Guyu time and space, the price of the source stone is 100 times higher than that of the universe crystal. With so many source stones, I am afraid that the 7 tribulations realm might not be able to come out. A small Qin family will have so many source stones in reserve. This time it's really posted. With so many source stones, let alone the Bacchus, even the 8 tribulations realm would be tempted. Of course, most of the 8 tribulations realm powerhouses don't need this kind of treasure. They need some strange things. These source stones can still play an auxiliary role in the cultivation of divine power. And they can also be absorbed in battle to restore divine power. It can be regarded as the hard currency in the robbery. And it is also the strategic material that the family needs to reserve. In this way, the Qin family's ambitions are really not small. So many source stones were hidden secretly. Jian Wushuang couldn't wait to open the remaining 2 spaces. The second area. It is a valley. Countless god-level herbs and some exotic flowers are planted in the valley. Even Jian Wushuang couldn't recognize it. But judging from the power emanating from above, these things are of great value. Something is wrong. Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. There was a familiar smell on these exotic flowers, which he had just seen. It's that breath. He tore off a blood-stained fruit at will, and put it directly into his mouth. That breath instantly turned into a violent force, and merged into his blood. Wang! Jian Wushuang clenched his fists with both hands. His supernatural power suddenly exploded. The base divine power has actually increased by 100. How is it possible? Jian Wushuang couldn't believe it. His basic divine power has reached 200,000 times. This is no longer the limit of the emperor. And even the limit of the strong man in the second tribulation realm cannot reach 200,000. The limit of the emperor is 100,000 times of supernatural power. He was able to reach 200,000 times beyond the standard. But it was because of Bobby D. Now that he absorbs that breath, he can actually increase his divine power. This is simply incredible. Looking around countless fruits, Jian Wushuang's eyes gleamed. If he eats all of it, wouldn't he be able to compare to the 5 tribulations realm in the emperor? No. Jian Wushuang shook his head. There must be some kind of backlash. If it is so magical, then this kind of treasure is too bad for the sky. How could the Qin family get such a treasure? A small Qin family, even if it is the glory of the ancestors, can't get such a magical treasure. With this kind of treasure, it shouldn't be the strength it is now. Then there is only one situation left. Jian Wushuang opened all 3 areas. On one side is the majestic mountain of the source stone. In the middle is the fruit. The last area is very small with a pool of blood. This made Jian Wushuang think of the blood sacrifice of the Soul Heaven Emperor. Compared with his past, his blood sacrifices are pediatrics. The blood pool of the Qin family made him think about it. It's a pity that the Qin family died and fled. It is estimated that everyone who knew the truth was killed by him. These fruits should be cultivated by the pool. It seems that the Qin family's plan is very big. Jian Wushuang thought in his heart. But why didn't the Qin family use it by themselves? What is the purpose of cultivating these blood-colored fruits? With these doubts, Jian Wushuang walked out of the secret room. He can use the source stone, but this is not marked. He has to be cautious about the rest. Destroy what can be destroyed, and throw away what cannot be destroyed. There are some bonus treasures that can be swallowed. Now he is going to find out some things about the Qin family. There is only one day left to go to the daughter country. It was late at night now, and he couldn't go out again after dawn. Only now go out of the city and go to the Chun family's ruins to inquire. After taking the attention, calm Jian Wushuang set off immediately. He couldn't hide such a big thing in his heart and wanted to understand it as soon as possible, because he always felt that the destruction of the Chun family was a big hidden danger for him. Just before he left the city, several powerful auras came to the capital of Qingyu. Jian Wushuang ignored it, and after changing his body shape, he walked directly towards the nest where the Chun family was destroyed. I will not be doubted if I go there now, because many strong people are in the Chun family's nest at this time. Some are curious, and some want to make a profit. When he arrived, he encountered a lot of experts in the robbery realm. This fellow Taoist, you are already late. The powerful man from the royal family just made a major discovery here, and has already left with those treasures. An old man sat cross-legged on the mountain and found Jian Wushuang falling beside him. When I felt the strong breath, I told him what had just happened here. Chapter 5741. The person here is Jian Wushuang. After hearing the old man's words, he thanked him in a low voice, then returned directly. I wanted to ask what was going on here, or if there was anything found. Unexpectedly, there are really important discoveries. At the beginning, he was walking in a hurry and thought that all the treasures were in the cave. Unexpectedly, the Chun family still has a backhand. Jian Wushuang hurried with all his strength and returned to the royal capital within an hour. Thinking of the royal family's entry into the city just now, his brow furrowed. It seems that what I found is unusual. If it is some ordinary treasure, I am afraid it will not return so fast. Although things have changed a bit, Jian Wushuang himself did not lose his position. First he recovered his figure and returned to the mansion calmly. Then began to contact Elder Mu Qin. He is the king of the universe, although his strength is not very good. But it is true that the backbone of the future is the elder brother of the empress. The news should be a little better than him. Wushuang sage nephew. The news is so fast. I also just got the news. Why don't you and I go to the palace to have a look? Elder Mu Qin was a little surprised at how quickly Jian Wushuang got the news, but he was not too skeptical. When the people of the royal family discovered the treasure, it caused a lot of movement, and then hurried back to the royal family, which attracted the attention of many people. As long as Jian Wushuang keeps in touch with the outside world at all times and knows this matter, it is not surprising. Jian Wushuang received the reply from Elder Mu Qin and responded. It was indeed too unusual for him to go there alone. If Mu Qin took him there, it would be different. Two people are going to watch the excitement. A person has a serious purpose and temperament. To be on the safe side, Jian Wushuang cheekily pulled on the Princess Jinchen. Originally, the other party was not going to go, but under his flicker, the Chun family password he said was earth-shattering. Be regarded as attracted to the other party. In this way, the two went outside the palace together, first met with Mu Qin, and then entered the palace together. The palace above the clouds is very solemn. After the three of them entered, they became awed unconsciously. Jian Wushuang's thoughts were more delicate, and he discovered that the guard at this time was much stricter than usual when he entered the palace. It was hard not to let him think that it was because of the Chun family, especially when he went to the main hall. The blood-colored aura in his body continued to surge, which was the aura in the blood-colored fruit he had just absorbed. In the main hall, the source with this breath is attracting him. Before entering the main hall, he felt a breath and came to the surface. A strong shot. The three of them looked surprised, and then quickly entered the main hall. There was no personal summons and he rushed in. When I entered the hall, I discovered that there were several powerful figures in the hall. 8 are in the 5 tribulations realm, and 2 are in the 6 tribulations realm. Of course, they are all in the diaspora realm, not the Lord of the universe. In today's kingdom, the only master of the universe in the 5 tribulations realm is a female emperor, and there are not many in the 4 tribulations realm. The entry of the 3 makes the scene cohesive. Several sharp eyes came, making people breathless. Ancestor Yanlong. Seeing this, Elder Mu Qin hurriedly bowed to see him. Among the two Six Tribulation Realm powerhouses, the oldest Tribulation Realm powerhouse nodded slowly. Although Jin Chun was the eldest princess of the Yu Kingdom, he had never seen an ancestor of this generation, and hurriedly pulled Jian Wushuang and walked with him to bow down. "Get up." Ancestor Yanlong had a kind face and waved to the three of them. When the female emperor saw this, she said, "Since it's here, just stand aside and watch." Yes. Jian Wushuang slowly got up and stood aside. It was only then that he could see that there was a small transparent altar in the hall. There was a churn of green liquid inside. It makes me sick to see, but the liquid in it contains vitality. Of course, this kind of vitality is very ordinary. It can't be compared with Jian Wushuang's life force at all. In this green vitality, there is also a small meatball. It is the appearance of Ganoderma lucidum. It should be this thing that made him surge. Jian Wushuang didn't cover up for a while, just staring at it blankly. The ancestor Yanlong, who was standing at the top, saw Jian Wushuang's strange eyes and asked, "Little guy, do you know?" Hearing Yanlong's ancestor's inquiry, Jian Wushuang reacted. There were several powerful men beside him, and he quickly closed his eyes. But when I looked at the ancestors, my thoughts moved, and I had an idea in my heart. Returning to my ancestors, the younger generation had seen the corresponding thing in Outland, found it in a secret realm, and accidentally ate the surrounding fruits. When I just saw this thing, I found that my qi and blood were related, so I was stunned. Jian Wushuang made up a lie that he was about to believe. Elder Mu Chun was on the side, but there were some differences, wondering why Jian Wushuang was so powerful. Even the secret realm of Outland dared to trespass. But another thought, Jian Wushuang's identity in Outland was fake. Can this be taken seriously? No one can tell whether it is true or false. "Oh, I have a fate with you. Then I will give it to you," said the ancestor Yanlong, mobilizing his mind to directly send the mysterious creature with the appearance of Ganoderma lucidum, soaked in the life liquid to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang was stunned for a moment. "This? Let you keep it, you just keep it," the empress said at this time, her voice cold. Jian Wushuang didn't dare to say more, and quickly followed up with his hands. The moment I touched the other party, the mysterious creature very similar to Lingji actually began to swallow his life force. The appearance also changed rapidly, from a ganoderm-like shape to an oval pupa. After Jian Wushuang blocked his life force, the other party no longer changed. This scene surprised the people present. The ancestor Yanlong's eyes flickered. He was not interested in the creatures in the living liquid, but only interested in these living liquids. When I heard Jian Wushuang know this thing, my heart moved, and I wanted to borrow Jian Wushuang's hand to get the thing out. He didn't bother to know whether it was true or not. Mainly they were all attracted by this stuff just now. Some people advocate not to move, but he can't wait. He urgently needs the life liquid in it now, because he is too old. If there is no more life, you will fall into a deep sleep. Become a living dead in the king's tomb. Jiangshan is so charming, he is very nostalgic. But he didn't expect that the mysterious creature was actually related to Jian Wushuang. And it changed quickly. I don't know if it changed because of leaving the life liquid, or because of Jian Wushuang. He knows that Jian Wushuang is a dynasty cohort, and his strength and background are extremely mysterious. Balking is really related to Jian Wushuang. Not moving anymore. Jian Wushuang held the oval pupa, neither moving nor moving. Chapter 5742. He was afraid of instilling the power of life again, and directly let the other party be born. From the power above, it seems that the opponent's power has nothing to do with the life force, but is related to the breath that has just been absorbed. Life will only let it be born early, but the breath can make him powerful quickly. The female emperor stared at Jian Wushuang. Her brows frowned slightly. She always felt that since Jian Wushuang appeared in front of her, the Yu country was uneasy. She didn't know that even the destruction of the Eternal Kingdom was very similar to Jian Wushuang. Relation? Dead. The ancestor Yanlong condensed his eyes on the pupa and said, because the pupa's life force, after Jian Wushuang was broken, it had withered quickly, and it was about to end soon. Jian Wushuang quickly offered the oval pupa. He didn't want such a thing. It's yours for you, no need to say anything. Old ancestor Yanlong said with a smile. I heard that you two are going to the daughter country this time. Go back and prepare earlier. This is about to send Jian Wushuang and others to leave. But Jian Wushuang had some concerns about that altar, and wanted to open it. However, his status is not qualified. He could feel the life liquid in it, and many people were staring at it. Especially which Yanlong ancestor. It doesn't matter when the female emperor comes. The Lord of the Universe does not need vitality. But those few robbers and Yanlong ancestors, who are about to step into the coffin of the robbery realm, are in great need. Junior leave, the three can only leave in angrily. As for the main hall, it is studying how to distribute. In the U country, there is also a top figure. Jian Wushuang didn't know how many 6 tribulations were in the realm. But in the 7 tribulations realm, there is only one. The founding ancestor of the royal family. The 7 tribulations realm mighty one had heard that he had entered the tomb of the king, and he didn't know if he could recover. It's just that little bit of life liquid. It's almost a dream to revive the 7 tribulations realm, and the probability is still a few points in the palace. These have nothing to do with him. All he wanted was the altar. If not because of limited strength and status, he really wanted to take out a ball of life force, throw it on the opponent's face, and then go directly to retreat and study with the altar. Now I can only hold a cicada pupa, which is still a half-dead cicada pupa. Even the breath he had just absorbed was swallowed by the opponent. No, Jian Wushuang had just left the palace, and his heart suddenly moved. The breath on his body is gone, but the increased divine power is still there. At this time he somewhat understood. This power is the biggest backlash. The source of backlash is that pupa. Scent. Jian Wushuang directly bid farewell to Elder Mu Chun, ignoring Jin Chun, and went straight back to the secret room of the mansion to begin a short retreat. He is going to prove his thoughts. Back to the cave sky, covering the infinite secrets of heaven. That is, the way of heaven. Play with the pupa in your hand. There is still a hint of life. Jian Wushuang's thought power can be felt. Even if there is no vitality, he can forcibly revive the opponent. This is something like this kind of risky thing. He dare not do it in his own source. Of all the treasures obtained from the Chun family, only Yuan Shirshan is in his origin. The rest are in the cave. Scarlet Valley. Fruit everywhere. Jian Wushuang threw the cicada pupa directly into the air. A huge green river, like a star river, directly envelopes the pupa of the cicada. The oval pupa is deformed again. The body shape is changing, but the strength has not changed. The present pupa is not even the immortal. Otherwise, it wouldn't be just given to him in vain. Break the cocoon. After swallowing a life force, the oval pupa emerged from the cocoon. Become a giant beetle. Although it has enough vitality, it can't be changed again. And the strength did not increase. After turning into a beetle, his body became larger, and his movement was very slow. Jian Wushuang stared at the direction of the opponent's movement. It's Scarlet Valley. This can't be eaten directly. Jian Wushuang restrained the beetle at will. He entered the Scarlet Valley by himself. Started to swallow the fruits and some herbs. The divine body skyrocketed frantically. There seems to be no upper limit. Jian Wushuang ate the blood-colored fruit in one hand, and in the other hand gave all the blood-colored power to the beetle. In this way he is purely increasing divine power. In an hour's time, he added 10,000 supernatural powers. This speed, if people know it, I'm afraid it will suffocate. If it weren't for a family ugly to devour his blood, I'm afraid he would explode and die. That breath became extremely violent when it encountered the beetle. It's just that the current beetle is no longer what it used to be. Jian Wushuang stared at the beetle bound under his hand. The other party already had a walk. But it still retains the characteristics of a beetle. The carapace became shoulder armor, breastplate, leg armor, and toe armor. Its head is the same, although it is a human shape, but it has beetle's unique eyes and the bridge of the nose. The mouth is even more rigid and round. You can talk. Jian Wushuang felt a faint call, staring at each other in surprise. Call. Listen carefully, there is only a deep breathing. After swallowing so much blood, its whole body still doesn't have much strength. At this time, even the ordinary can't beat it. This made Jian Wushuang think of the blood pool. If this guy is thrown into the pool of blood, I don't know if he can become the emperor. Jian Wushuang shook his head and sighed from the bottom of his heart. Forget it. Your greatest use is to help me relieve these breaths. Wow. The flow of time slowly slows down, and his supernatural power is growing wildly. He wants to swallow all the fruits in the valley. Look, the divine power will reach that level. 1 year, 2 years, 100 years. With the acceleration of time, it took him 100 years to swallow all the fruits in the Scarlet Canyon. In 100 years, the body of the walking beetle has not changed much, but its strength has broken through to the immortal and reached the peak. Be regarded as the realm of Taoist monarch. But this strength, in Jian Wushuang's eyes, was no different from a real bug. The current Jian Wushuang really has the qualifications to be arrogant. His basic divine power has increased to 400,000 times. The emperor has 400,000 times the basic divine power. It makes people think about it, but I dare not think so. This time, calm. He doesn't need the power of the beast gods. He has 40 powers, comparable to the top 4 calamities. Now if he uses the power of the beast god, the burden will be huge. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist slightly, and the beast soldiers on his body appeared. The next moment, he gritted his teeth and wanted to use the power of the beast god, but found that he couldn't mobilize the source of the beast god. It seems that it's a bit reluctant. There was no accident when he arrived. Now the 400,000 times the divine power. Once the power of the beast is used, even if it is double the power of the beast god, it can be increased to 480,000. That is the real limit. He has achieved a short period of 500,000 times his supernatural power. It was because of the power of Bobby D. Chapter 5743. Now he can use twice the power of the beast to reach 500,000 times at any cost. Could it be that this beetle has something to do with Bobby D? But when he saw the appearance of the beetle, he didn't think it looked like it. Is also possible, but from the same place as Bobby D. Was then acquired by the Chen family, who wanted to cultivate this kind of monster. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Unfortunately, the strength is too weak. Only now is Daojun. Even if it is thrown into the pool of blood, at most it will reach the absolute peak, or the tribulation realm. What can you do? Ordinary tribulation realm is also an ant. Unless it's like the Qi Jiuxiao, made by Emperor Bobby. Half a step in the 9 tribulations realm. Of course, the Chen family doesn't have the ability to train. Although the strength of Bobby D is weak, the secret method used is very special, able to control many powerful people. And even many superpowers in ancient Wood continent are willing to cooperate with each other. What does the Chen family have? Is it the one that used to be the 5 tribulations realm? That's too far. Take 10,000 steps back, the beetle can really reach that point. How should the Chen family control it? Ordinary slavery simply doesn't work. Jian Wushuang pinched the beetle's head, feeling very uncomfortable in his heart. I don't know if I want the other party to be strong or just like this. If he becomes very powerful, he doesn't have the ability to control the opponent like Bobby D. Forget it, just stay here. Jian Wushuang threw the opponent directly into the Scarlet Valley. There are still many remaining breaths here, and the altar is next door. The opponent is still here, and his strength will continue to increase. Bloody pool, he didn't even rush to use it. Is sealed next to it. But he didn't know how much disaster this random one would bring to Yu Kingdom, and even the entire time and space. It's just that it's been a long time since. Before he left, the beetle, who could not stand still, was lying on the ground, turned to look at Jian Wushuang, and roared 2 words. Silu. Jian Wushuang left the cave sky, placed a backing stone for the cave sky in the jade spring in the secret room, and hurriedly left. Today I still have to follow Yanlong's ancestors to the daughter country, so I can't delay. The daughter of the country, the master of the 7 calamities, also has an inexplicable relationship with Empress Fengchen. Jian Wushuang wanted to see it even more. By the way, go to Shirguo again to get the sword blank. If Fan Tianfeng makes things difficult for him, he will go to the ancient wood school to find another, the master of casting gods. There is no need to hang in the stone country. Hope Fan Tianfeng will not be so careful. After leaving the secret room, the breath of just appeared in the mansion, and a figure came to him in an instant. Why did you come out? Don't you know that you are going to the daughter country today? The visitor was Princess Jin Chen, who was already wearing formal clothes and urging Jian Wushuang with an impatient look. Jian Wushuang was also not angry. This time he was really to blame. Hurriedly changed into a black robe and followed Jin Chen out of the mansion. The two went directly to the east gate of the palace. Yanlong ancestor is already waiting here. When Jian Wushuang saw the black dragon at the feet of the opponent, he also understood why the opponent was called Yanlong. Should be the road number, not the real name. Ancestor Yanlong. The two paid respectfully. S complexion was a little uncontrollable, and even let an old man wait for the two of them for so long. Come on. The ancestor Yanlong didn't care when he arrived, and he still leaked an amiable appearance. Jian Wushuang saw the other's face. It was a little ruddy, and it seemed to be much younger. There is a high probability that the life liquid in the altar has been absorbed. As for the altar, he didn't dare to think too much, and there was no need to think about it. The blood-colored fruits have all been transformed into divine powers long ago. Set off. The three of them rode on the black dragon, smashed the space, and entered the turbulence. It seems that the speed is not very fast, but in the blink of an eye, they have already left the country. Is now heading towards her daughter's country. It only takes a quarter of an hour to reach the daughter country. Jian Wushuang sat cross-legged on the back of the black hole, looking around, thinking about Jianbi in the bottom of his heart. Daughter country, after all, is just a curiosity. Sword blank is the business. Went to Shirgua, without using the power of Yuegua. He quietly went to search for it. It is difficult to meet those celebrities. It is necessary to use the relationship between the royal family of Yu, and let Fan Tianfeng know. Headache. The key is that this time it is not only Yu country who went to the daughter country. There are other strong people from Gumo continent, and people from Xinjiang ancient moon god sect will come. The Lord of the Universe in the Seven Tribulations realm has an extraordinary identity. If there is a Master of the Universe in the Eight Tribulations realm, I am afraid that there will be strong people coming to see him in the long river of time and space around him. Eight Tribulation realm comes with the Universe Dojo. A Master of the Universe of the Eight Tribulations realm can stun several great eras. Is like those times in Guyu time and space. Some were created by the Master of the Universe of the Seven Tribulations realm, but in every great era, there will be a Master of the Universe of the Eight Tribulations realm. For example, the Master of the Universe of the Eight Tribulations in the last great era has already left the Million era of the Ancient Moon era. In today's Guyu time and space, except for the Master of the Universe of the Eight Tribulations realm on the face of the Ancient Moon God sect, the other forces do not have a Master of the Universe of the Eight Tribulations realm. The power of the Master of the Universe of the Seven Tribulations realm is very pitiful. Is like the ancient wood continent, and there are only 3 Seven Tribulation realm universe masters. There is also a strong man from the ancient moon sect. The peak of the Seven Tribulations realm. The owner has half a step in the Eight Tribulations realm's combat power. If he were in his cosmic dojo, I am afraid that no one on the ancient wood continent could threaten him. Unless it's the flame leading the dojo to fight. Just arrived in Guyu time and space. Jian Wushuang still felt that the Lord of the Universe was worthless. But looking at it now, it is weak and worthless. The powerful are always rare. Whether it is the Lord of the Universe or the Emperor, it is the same. He can't learn from those who are weak, but must follow the strong ones. The distance became a robbery, and he was only one chance. Open Wanlu, he will surely break through. When the time comes, he will directly become the Lord of the Universe. Strength will also change again. Don't talk about the power of the starry sky. In terms of his current supernatural power alone, there are 400,000. When the time comes, I will merge Dongjun's bones into the divine body. When broke out completely, a million supernatural powers were easy. The power of the beast will truly explode in the robbery realm. Who? Jian Wushuang let out a suffocating breath. There was a light in front of his eyes, and a hole was split. Appeared again, and it was a world where the sky was blue and the ground was green. The green grass is decorated with pink flowers. Is exactly the same as the daughter country in Jian Wushuang's fantasy. The only thing I didn't see was the girl from the daughter country. I don't know what will happen. It's coming soon, you two little guys follow me. Yanlong ancestor confessed. The black dragon at his feet flashed, and he instantly arrived outside a simple and small city. Chapter 5744 is incomparable to the super city of ascetics. Is this the national capital of the daughter country? Jin Shen was the first to question. Jian Wushuang is also very curious. There is no breath in this city. Is like a mundane city. Haha, of course, after you enter, you will understand that the capital of this daughter country is really an immortal city. The ancestor Yanlong took the black dragon magic weapon and landed the two on the trail outside the city. Go up, just walk into the city like this. After entering the city, Jian Wushuang and Jin Shen are like countrymen entering the city for the first time. So please take a closer look. The ancestor of Yanlong is like an accompanying old housekeeper. As he walks, he exhorts. Remember, in this city, you can't use magical powers, let alone slaughter mortals, otherwise no one can keep you. Ancestor, rest assured, we are not magical practitioners. Jin Shen didn't care. Jian Wushuang also nodded slightly. He really is not a practitioner of the demon way. If he counts, he is not a practitioner of the righteous way, but a practitioner of the heavenly way. Pursue the way of heaven. Pursuit of being strong pursues longevity even more. His longevity road has been realized. According to his speculation, he reached the absolute point and mastered the complete Dao Xian. Is true eternal immortality. The once eternity can't be immortal. Dao Xian does not really reach consummation, it will still fall. But now Jian Wushuang is a real immortal longevity. But if you want to become the Lord of the universe, you have to face catastrophe. Cut off longevity. And above the Lord of the universe, there should be this immortal longevity. Maybe that is his pursuit. Walking on the mundane streets. Has different emotions. Especially Princess Jin Shen. I'm afraid I haven't experienced too many red dust experiences at all. The immortal in Guyua time and space is actually more like a red fairy. Stand out from the mundane red dust. There are some arrogances, but they quickly broke through and reached the emperor, and even without any stumbling along the way, they directly became the Lord of the universe. This will not go long. Huh? The three of them walked, and suddenly realized that they were being followed. Jin Shen's personality is relatively straightforward. He turned his head to look at it when he felt that he was being watched by a pair of eyes. On the corner of the street, one old and one young stood. Which teenager, or a young man, has red hair and blood-red eyes? A long robe, embroidered with red patterns, very strange. Stared at the three of them at this time, with some greed in their eyes. When I look at Jin Shen, his eyes are even more strange. Seeing Jin Shen looking back at him, he had been spotted, and he stared at Jin Shen up and down. Wears a golden robe. Embroidered on the top is a 5-claw golden dragon, more like an imperial robe. Maybe this kind of dress can arouse a man's desire for control. Jin Shen's appearance is also stronger, and he directly shouted at the other party. Bold, look at this palace like this. If you were here, I told you that your eyes were dug out. Don't be rude. As soon as he said this, Jian Wushuang frowned. The ancestor Yanlong was actually speaking. He actually stopped Jin Shen. When I looked at the two people in the distance, I didn't pay attention to any red-haired young man, but looked at the old man next to him, and said respectfully, Senior Bloodblade, long time no see. Thanks, Tusk, who am I? I turned out to be from Vietnam. The old man didn't buy it. After feeling the breath of Yanlong, he dismissed it, turned his head and said coldly to the red-haired boy next to him, Let's go. Well, I want to see it. After I get out of here, I will grab it back for you to be a furnace tripod. After hearing this, the red-haired young man licked the corner of his mouth with his tongue, and cast a very disgusting look at Jin Shen. This made Jin Shen very angry. His eyes were already huge, but now they are about to stare out. Can be stopped by Yanlong ancestor, can only swallow it. Jian Wushuang stood aside, his expression cold. Although he and Jin Shen are just a superficial couple, but in this situation, he couldn't watch it either. I thought I was shameless enough, but I didn't expect you to be more shameless than me. Jian Wushuang sneered, a dark energy, a palm of 400,000 supernatural powers condensed in an instant, and patted the red-haired youth. Although the opponent's aura shrank, Jian Wushuang could also see through the level of life force that he should be the lord of the universe, and stronger than Wu Li, at least the peak of the three tribulations realm, or the lord of the universe in the four tribulations realm. 400,000 divine power. Even the master of the universe in the four tribulations realm should be treated with care. This is not his dojo. You dare. The red-haired young man's complexion changed drastically, and he shouted angrily. That dark energy rushed towards his face. He didn't expect Jian Wushuang to dare to make a move. Can only be hardwired now. There is a muffled noise with both hands. A young man with red hair. A trace of blood leaking from the corner of his mouth. He couldn't believe that Jian Wushuang was able to hurt him. When the ancestor Yanlong wanted to stop, there was no time. The ancestor Yanlong, who was originally calm, looked a little ugly at this time. Jian Wushuang took action without his consent, which made him very dissatisfied. But this is also related to the face of Yugua. For a while many foreign practitioners looked over. If he licked his face before apologizing, he wouldn't be able to lose that person. But he can't afford to offend the other party. The Blood Knife Ancestor. 7 Tribulation Realm Powerhouse. Although it is the realm of scattering tribulation, its combat power is not ordinary, with the top combat power of the 7 Tribulation Realm is stronger than the founding ancestors of Vietnam. It's fine if the other party is a casual cultivator. The ancestor of the Blood Knife came from the strongest sect of Haitian, the Blood-Clothed sect, which red-haired young man, if he guessed correctly, he should be the son of the current sect master. The Blood-Clothed Gate, the 8-star sect. The contemporary sect master is even the master of the universe in the 7 Tribulations realm. They really can't afford it. 9 heavens and 10 earths. 2 days in black and white, the most complete and powerful. I won't talk about it during the day, but the headquarters of the ancient moon god sect is in the daytime. How can the black sky, which is comparable to it, be weak? Blood-Clothed's Door is another magic sect. Is stronger than the ancient wood school, and more powerful than the ancient wood school. This superpower is really unattainable. If you want to destroy the country, you can destroy it with a backhand. Old Wood Pie is useless. Although both the Bloody Cloth sect and the Ancient Wood sect are both 8-star sects, the current comprehensive power and background of the Bloody Cloth sect are much stronger than those of the Ancient Wood sect. If the Ancient Wood school can completely master the Wanlu Shinmu, may be better than the Blood Cloaked Door. But even his own treasures can't be fully controlled. How is it compared with the Blood-Clothed Door that completely controls Haitian? You must dare to attack me. The red-haired young man is the young master of the Blood-Clothed Door. With such an identity, no matter who you see in Haitian, you have to walk up to him honestly and let him play around at will. Now it's just looking at each other. There are people who dare to come forward and attack him. He couldn't help but want to shoot right now. The ancestor of the Blood Knife grabbed his raised arm and said in a low voice, "Go out and talk about it. This place is the territory of which country lord?" Chapter 57:45. Although the Blood-Clothed Door is powerful, but the strong dragon does not crush the ground snake. The Magic Way knows this truth better. If you shoot now, you will definitely suffer. Just now, he didn't know how Jian Wushuang was able to keep his breath tight, so he dared to attack him. Just when the two of them are leaving, the strong man of the daughter country comes. A master of the 5 Tribulations universe. Looks like a 28-9-year-old face, but it has a hint of unusual charm. Dear guests, this place is the most important place in our country. You can't do it privately. I hope you can forgive me. Fairy and Z, you are here just right. It's the first time I have come to your daughter's country. It just so happened that you took us to meet the lord of the country. Yanlong ancestor quickly changed the subject, took Jian Wushuang and Jin Chun towards the Zi ferry. Before leaving, Jian Wushuang glanced back at the red-haired young man. The other person's eyes really disgusted him. Jin Chun's view of Jian Wushuang has changed a little at this time, and he whispered, "Just now, thank you. I'm so thankful. You don't think the other party is interested in you, right?" Jian Wushuang said angrily, "I think that person is as good as Long Yang. I just take care of me when I am in love." His mouth was so hard that the change Jin Chun had just made disappeared again, and he rolled his eyes at Jian Wushuang. Fairy Zi smiled with joy when he saw that he was the ancestor of Yanlong. "Are you Fengchen's daughter?" Zi Fairy asked. Jin Chun was shocked by the question, then nodded quickly. "I was very happy to see Jin Chun's Zi Fairy," and he went straight to grab Jin Chun's hand and asked for warmth. Jian Wushuang was very jealous when he saw it. Why is there not a fairy come and ask him? He also needs someone to comfort him now. Under the leadership of Fairy Zi, the three directly broke through the clouds and entered the palace of the daughter country. Jian Wushuang looked down the clouds and said with emotion, "Why these royal families like to build their palaces on the clouds?" After entering the imperial palace, this place is still somewhat different from the imperial palace of Yu Kingdom. The scenery is more in line with the commonplace. Various kinds of flowers are planted everywhere, very bright. The country of daughters is all women, which is not surprising. The strange thing is why the whole body of the daughter country can continue to multiply. Jian Wushuang actually asked about it. The rumor is that the goddess left a glance at the spring water, and she conceived after drinking it, and only gave birth to daughters. Jian Wushuang thought, what would happen if a man drank it? That screen. Jian Wushuang didn't dare to think too much. After entering the palace, a few people came to a hall. This place should be a partial hall. Now there are many people seated, as thousands of thrones, sitting in a bustling hustle and bustle. Most of them are in the 6 tribulations, and a few are in the 5 tribulations. There will be many masters of the universe. Compare which country lord can preach and tell his own experience of successfully surviving the catastrophe. Even the masters of the universe in the 6 tribulations realm have come a lot. Jian Wushuang saw a burly man sitting at the front. He had short hair and was avant-garde. His temples were a little pale, and his beard was the same. But the face is extremely resolute. Is somewhat similar to the original Shurgio, or Shurgio is more similar to him. Raksho, the most promising cosmic lord in Shurgwa today, to enter the 7 tribulations realm, is also a strong man at the same time as the master of the daughter country, used to stand side by side, but I didn't expect to let the other party overtake it. In addition to Shurgio, there are also several masters of the universe in the 6 tribulations realm, all of whom are Tianjiao. The status is much higher than the 7 tribulation realm. The forces that came to congratulate this time either came from the Lord of the Universe or from Tribulation realm. Sunjus are all powerhouses above the 6 tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang followed Yanlong's ancestor, very inconspicuous. The ancestor of Yanlong was seated. He and Jin Chun could only stand behind the throne. Ding! A clear and melodious voice rang out, attracting most people's attention. Jian Wushuang also followed the voice. 4 breaths rose into the sky, coming from outside the hall. Big shot. Everyone held their breath. 4 figures. Standing at the forefront is a middle-aged man with a beard. His face is calm, with a jade hung around his waist, and a pair of deep eyes hides an extremely deep city. Iron Guts. The superpowers sent by the ancient moon god sect to the ancient wood continent are not exactly the people of the ancient wood continent. Can have monstrous power and unfathomable strength in the ancient wood continent. Rumor has it that the 8 tribulations realm has combat power. Ancient wood continent, the only thing that can crush him is the flame god. The remaining 2 8 tribulations realm had little vitality, and they couldn't make a normal shot at all. Otherwise Bobby D's plan would not go so smoothly. He is the Lord of the Universe, and he is not interested in Bobby D. Holy God. Brother Zhu. For a time, The few seven tribulation realm powerhouses in the temple stood up to say hello. These seven calamities are not the ancestors of a party, or the head of a party of forces. I can see the iron guts, but he is extremely polite. Compared that he is no longer the Lord of the universe. And Tai Dan Shun is the Lord of the universe at the pinnacle of the seven tribulations realm. The time to cross the robbery is still very long. Even if it fails to cross the catastrophe, it will have a huge vitality for countless years in the future. Will live longer than these old guys. And if it succeeds in crossing the catastrophe, that is the pioneer of the new era. This is why many people are very polite to every master of the seven tribulations realm universe. Even the 8-star sect, they are extremely kind. In case of a successful crossing of the catastrophe that day, it would be a great opportunity. Iron Daring looked around, leaking a smile, and said calmly, "It seems that it was not too late." Then took a seat directly next to the main position. The master, of course, is reserved for the daughter of the country master. Now that the daughter kingdom greets everyone outside, it is a powerhouse of the seven tribulations realm, and he can be regarded as the ancestor of the daughter kingdom. Although the ancestors of the 8 tribulations in the kingdom of the daughters have arrived, there are still a lot of them in the 7 tribulations. At the time, the ancient Wood sect had not yet been established, and there was a daughter country, which has a longer history than the ancient Wood sect, and even the ancient Moon God sect. There are naturally many 7 tribulation realms that were born. In this era, another universe lord of the 7 tribulations has been born, and the daughter kingdom still has the glory of several eras. With the appearance of every big man, there are not many thrones left in the hall. Jian Wushuang took the opportunity to record the information of these powerful men, to prepare for future running. The strongest person on the scene is the brave face. The level of life alone surpasses everyone. The strength of the opponent made him think of Qixin. When Qixin's body was revived, he also witnessed this power. Maybe the current is still a little bit behind Qixin, but that power is already very close. The power of the Lord of the Universe is stronger than the feeling that Tribulation Realm gives him. If the catastrophe is a pool of water, then the Lord of the Universe is a sea. A pool of water will eventually dry up. Can be a sea, but it is endless. No wonder Qixin was unwilling to switch to Sanjia. Seems to have seen it through. Chapter 5746, Scattered Robbery, Only Self-Destruction. Stay alive, it's better to fight. Now he has begun to agree with Qixin's approach. Although Qixin's approach would probably count him, he still feels that Qixin is fine. If it were him, he would do the same. In addition to Taidan Shunho, the master of the 7 tribulations realm universe, there are also a few 7 tribulations realm auras that are unusual, even though there is no origin universe. But his life is still alive. It is estimated that the combat power is no less than those of the 7 tribulations realm, who took refuge in Bobby Emperor. I don't know why, none of the 7 tribulations realm that was released by Emperor Bobby at the time came. He was afraid that the other party would recognize him. Unexpectedly, I didn't see one. It seems that they also have a mission. His clone has been on Bobby D's spacecraft, and it seems that there is no movement on the surface. Bobby D has worked so hard to make the monster Qi Jiuxiao, and he must have a big plan. Whether it's rekindling the road of cultivation, or whatever, it won't be so quiet after all. Something must be done. The more immobile, the greater the proof of the plan. Then the movement will be even greater. This is also good. The greater the movement, the more opportunities he has. Looking at it now, the overall strength of Gumo continent is pretty good. Is far worse than Qi Jiuxiao. Unless it is the master of the 8 tribulations realm universe in the cult, it will not be able to stop Qi Jiuxiao at all. Babidi might also be worried about this, so he hasn't made any moves, and wants to find a certain opportunity. Just as Jian Wushuang was thinking about it, 2 familiar auras appeared outside the hall, and someone was complaining from afar. Thanks, it's really hard. The red-haired young man snorted coldly, and was very upset with his daughter Guogua. Du actually wanted them to come in. But Jian Wushuang and others were picked up. The person here is exactly the two of the blood-clothed men, who have had some small holidays with Jian Wushuang and others. These two people do not belong to Gumu continent. They enter the hall with their heads high, very arrogant. The blood knife ancestor walked in front, and even sneered at the seven tribulations realm next to him. In their opinion, the comprehensive strength of Gumu continent is basically enough to compare with He Tian. Dark days and daytime are the two strongest days among the 9 days. As for the 10 places, the collapse, the withered. There are not many to see. Ancient Wood continent is already relatively well preserved. It's a blood-clothed person, really arrogant. Some of the 6 tribulations realm experts whispered. It is reasonable to be able to let the strong from the outside world come this time. But I didn't expect someone from the blood-clothed door to come. Demon Dao sect. Ignore Zhu. The blood knife ancestor stepped forward and only nodded to Tai Dan. Tai the Courageous Look is a title. S real name, Zhu ignores. A master of the universe at the pinnacle of the 7 tribulations realm is still worthy of respect. It just seemed that the blood knife ancestor and the iron guts were not on the right path, and neither of them said a word. The red-haired young man narrowed his eyes when he saw the tall and bold body. Reminded him of something terrible. The gods who hadn't descended on the ancient Wood continent at the time were also the people of Haitian. Just entered the ancient Wood sect early and rarely returned to Haitian. But when he was weak, this was also the famous Emperor Tianjiao of Haitian. Is a generation with the master of the blood-clothed door today. The two even fought each other during the emperor period. The red-haired young man is the young master of the blood-clothed door, and naturally he has heard rumors about the gods from his father. That's why there is a trace of scruples and fear in my heart. You are so timid. You really look like your father. Zhu Wuxia turned his head and took a look at the red-haired young man before speaking lightly. By this, the red-haired young man jumped with cold sweat on his forehead, so he didn't dare to say a word. The ancestor of the blood knife frowned. When he was the lord of the universe, he was no more than the emperor. According to his seniority, he was still the opponent's senior. Now he threatened the young master of the blood-clothed door. No matter what, he would come out to block it. A violent blood gas rose suddenly, forming a blood shield, directly blocking Zhu Mizu's gaze. He was daring, frowned and said, "It's still as stingy as before." Although he is also a Haitian person, the most uncomfortable are Haitian people, who can only bully the weak and have no courage to challenge the strong. There is no such thing as a strong one. Everyone snickered when they saw the people in the blood-clothed door squat. Sadly, this is a check and balance within Haitian, the ancient Wood continent powerhouse present. But no one dared to confront the blood-clothed gate. If Black Sky is not good, then Gumu continent is not good. Fortunately, he does not belong to any party. I can't put it on his face without shame. Just when the hall was noisy, a fragrance of flowers came, and everyone was stunned. The fragrance of flowers is very special, which makes people instantly enter an ethereal state, feeling comfortable all over and thinking faster. With the fragrance of the flowers, a puff of white dust descended, looking around, raising a wave of majesty. Then came a powerful breath. The Lord of the Daughter Kingdom is here. The Lord of the 7 Tribulation Realm Universe. Everyone withdrew their thoughts one after another, and turned their heads to look around in unison. Some people have met this country lord. This time, there are also some friends of the other side who know each other naturally, but they have never seen the Lord, who became the Lord of the universe of the 7 Tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang stood behind the throne. The throne covered half of his face. Only when I looked at him, and he was shocked. In his single eye, a gentle woman in a white fairy skirt is walking slowly. I don't know if it's the angle or something else. He always felt that the other party was coming towards him. A long and narrow body, with carved facial features, and soft skin like jade. Single round appearance, is actually hard to surprise Jian Wushuang. Is that temperament that squeezes the people present to death. This temperament makes people have the desire to conquer. Seeing the gentle gaze of the other party, I wanted to pull it into my arms. Not right. Jian Wushuang shook his head desperately, and after his eyes became clear, he discovered which daughter of the country lord really came towards him. How is this possible? Jian Wushuang was surprised and delighted in his heart. What was surprised was why the other party would notice him as a small person. She can't be said, maybe it is a short heartbeat, for some reason, it suddenly moved the mundane red heart. Made him show no ill will towards the daughter of the country's lord, only full of goodwill. The white skirt floated with the breath, and the daughter of the country's lord came so lightly. Surprised everyone. Many people are puzzled as to why this country lord would go to Yanlong's ancestor. You need to know that the strength of Yanlong ancestor is not too prominent in this hall, and the background is average. Everyone is surprised. Chapter 5747. But the ancestor Yanlong was not surprised. He was not led by that touching tenderness, and his eyes were kind and respectful. But in his mind, he recalled that era. When the current Empress Fengchen was still an immortal, he had not changed much from that time. It's all robbery. When I first saw this country lord, the other party was still a little girl. When I saw each other for the second time, Empress Fengchen and her were already inseparable friends. The last time I saw him, the other party begged him with tears. See you now. Has been treated respectfully. Your Majesty. Yanlong ancestor stood up to meet him. Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen behind him also bowed to see each other. Jian Wushuang secretly rejoiced in his heart, and waited for the lord to call him. But the lord of the kingdom approached, but he said indifferently, Uncle Yanlong, this one next to you? With tenderness in her eyes, she was moved when she saw the figure. Staring at the figure behind Yanlong ancestor, her eyes became even more beautiful. Many people were amazed. They didn't expect this humble ancestor Yanlong to be able to talk to the daughter of the kingdom, who had just broken through. If it's polite, it's fine. But now it has just appeared, putting aside the iron guts, and going to talk to a sixth tribulation realm powerhouse. Many people envy it. It doesn't matter if Taidan waits. He is not affected by any influence, and still sits firmly on the throne. When the time came, the blood knife ancestor on the side swallowed, but he did not lose his mind. But the red-haired young man behind him stared blankly, and his saliva was about to flow out. Fortunately, the blood knife ancestor reminded privately that there was no shame. Otherwise, wait for everyone to react and see this scene, thinking that the people in the blood-clothed door have never seen a woman. Let's talk about Yanlong ancestor's side. After Jian Wushuang heard that sentence, his head was dizzy, thinking that he was talking about himself. Thinking of the sweet voice, he was overjoyed in his heart, and he straightened up and introduced himself. Unexpectedly, the country lord at this time stepped forward, grabbed Jin Chen's raised hand, and said softly, like Fengchen. Jian Wushuang's mind kept surging, and finally, driven by Dao Xian, he gradually returned to normal. At this time, I also thought of the matter of the Empress Fengchen and the daughter of the country leader, and it became clear. Call. Don't live up to it. Jian Wushuang slapped himself fiercely from the bottom of his heart. Daoxin returned to the cold state again. Jin Chen didn't know what was going on, and was taken aback. But when he touched the Lord with both hands, there was a warm feeling in the bottom of my heart. Innate goodwill. The ancestor Yanlong looked awkward on the side, then glanced at Jian Wushuang again, with sadness in his eyes. Your mother is okay? The daughter of the country leader asked softly. Jin Chen replied cleverly. Everything is fine, but this time I'm in retreat, and I don't have time to come. She is still so strong. This sentence is very ambiguous. Jian Wushuang smiled at the side. I am afraid that only he and Yanlong ancestors know the inside story. By the way, this is a gift my mother asked me to give to your majesty. Jin Chen thought of the scroll at this time, and quickly took out the scroll with a hand, and handed it to the other party. Upon seeing this, the daughter of the country lord looked happy, and carefully took the scroll. This gift is the most precious. She is also very happy. Then I found that all eyes were on them. The corners of the eyes were smiling, and I apologized. I will let you all wait a long time. After that, he said to Jin Chen, you guys will go later, and I have something to give to your mother. Then he touched Jin Chen's small head and drifted away. The moment she fell into the dominant position, the aura on her body also changed from gentle to majestic. But the smile on his face still didn't have any deterrent effect, and some were just endless warmth. Congratulate. Start. With countless gifts given, you can have a few words with this country's lord. The last is preaching. Jian Wushuang, an emperor, also listened very carefully. Although he didn't understand many of them, he also benefited a lot. This time the receipt exceeded his expectations. Even for some things, he still wanted to ask which country lord himself. Just his identity. Maybe you can use Jin Chen's identity to talk to the other party for a few words. His current supernatural power has reached 400,000. Under normal circumstances, it is stronger than eternal changes. Now he urgently needs to merge the divine power with the eternal transformation. The power of the starry sky no longer only increases the original source, but also increases the divine power. In this way, the eternal change will once again become stronger. At that time, his strength will skyrocket. It's just that now he only has this idea, but he can't figure out how to do it. If one or two of the country's lord pointed him, he might be able to find a way to make a breakthrough. Normally 400,000 supernatural powers can reach 500,000 supernatural powers when using the power of the beast to reach the limit state. It is very difficult for him to achieve this combat power, now that he is performing eternal changes. But if it can connect to the divine power, the two increase each other. His combat power may be able to fight the 5 tribulations realm, and it is not a problem with the original Dylan battle. In the holy meeting, there must be a fight. At that time, he is an emperor, and it is difficult for him to play a key role. Now he can't directly become the master of the universe, and can only seek to create a secret method to increase his combat power. The congratulatory ceremony lasted for several days. Some forces that have a good relationship with the daughter country will not want to go away, and they want to see the master alone again. Jian Wushuang and others naturally stayed. Old ancestor, can you talk about the original country lord and mother's queen? Jin Chen took Yanlong ancestor, wanting to hear the story of the original mother queen and this country lord. Yanlong ancestor's complexion was pulled. I don't know what to say. Empress Feng Chen didn't tell her daughter about this. Obviously she didn't want Jin Chen to know about it. But this time I asked Jin Chen to come, but I wanted to make my daughter befriend this super existence. The abacus is very good. Jian Wushuang sighed with emotion. In the situation of Yugua, I had to choose this way. The ancestor Yanlong hit the Mandarin ducks, but he still came here with a cheeky. In the face of absolute strength, everything can be put down. The female emperor at the time gave up her love for strength. Now for the sake of Yugua, he put down his face again. The two shouldn't be in contact anymore. Although the ancestor Yanlong couldn't hang on his face, he was still happy. If the Yu country can hold the thigh of the daughter country, it will be a lot more stable in the future. Be regarded as a strong and reliable ally. The 3 of them were arranged in a different courtyard by the people of the daughter country. The layout of the courtyard is very ordinary and very warm. There is a tree full of peach blossoms and a well. Next to the tree is a small pavilion. The 3 of them sat in it, and Jian Wushuang sat in the middle to make tea. He was not curious. The ancestor Yanlong definitely wouldn't talk about this kind of thing, so he didn't ask it from beginning to end. Chapter 5748. Waiting for the daughter of the country master to arrive. And this time, he was not in Shigua's team, and seeing Fan Tianfeng, he probably didn't come. It is a pity. It seems that I can only pray that I will not meet her in Shigua. Jian Wushuang thought so in his heart. In accordance with the plan, he was going to leave now. But the relationship between the female emperor and the Yu country was more unusual than he thought. Just wait a while. Originally thinking, which empress must have a conversation with those powerful powerhouses first, but did not expect them to enter the small courtyard with their front feet, just soaking a pot of tea. The other party will come. The daughter of the country master. From the congratulations, Jian Wushuang also knew the right real name. Yunji. There is no royal family in the daughter country. Anyone can be the master of the country. If we talk about the royal family, then everyone is an ancestor. In the kingdom of daughters, everyone thinks they are the descendants of the goddess who opened up the ancient moon time and space. It's just that no one outside recognizes it. If this is admitted, isn't Guyu Shirkong belong to the kingdom of daughters? Ancient moon god sect would not agree either. Has been vehemently denied. Still have to speak with strength. If the 9 tribulations powerhouse appears in the daughter country, in other words, there have been several masters of the universe in the 8 tribulations realm. Even the gods can't help it. Can only admit. Yunji stayed the same, pushed open the wooden door, and walked in casually. Yanlong ancestor quickly took the lead and got up, respectfully in worship. Yunji came here alone without any pretensions. Uncle Yanlong, you are welcome, there are no outsiders here. After speaking he looked at Jinshen. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang quickly poured tea and water. Yunji just sat beside Jinshen casually. Jinshen was somewhat restrained at first. After chatting, he let go of his figure and asked about Yunji's country lord and the empress function. Jian Wushuang also raised his ears and listened. I thought the other party wouldn't say it. Unexpectedly, I really said it. It just covers up that layer of sentiment. At close range, feeling the aura of the universe master of the 7 tribulations realm, Jian Wushuang couldn't contain the excitement in his heart. But he still sat aside honestly without any sockets. The ancestor Yanlong felt that the conversation was a little far away, but he couldn't say anything. He just pretended to be dead. Lord, when I parted with my mother and queen, why didn't I have contact with each other for so many years? Jinshen asked curiously, but after asking it out, he remembered that this topic seemed a bit sensitive. There must be some stories in it, but the Lord Yunji didn't say it. After Yunji heard it, she was not angry, but looked up and looked far away, without answering for a long time. Upon seeing this, Jinshen quickly apologized and blamed himself for saying the wrong thing. Don't blame you. Yunji shook his head, then took the initiative to change the subject and said, in the future, you don't need to call me the lord of the country, just call me Aunt Yun immediately. Jinshen was very pleased with this, and immediately yelled a few times. Jian Wushuang poured the tea for so long, and found that the other party still didn't notice him. He was a little anxious, but there was nothing to turn off the topic, so he could only wait. Yunji moved his gaze at this time, and found that Jian Wushuang had a causal entanglement with Jinshen, and asked, this must be your husband. I forgot to introduce him. His name is Jian Wushuang. He just married me. Jinshen replied heartily. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang offered tea again. Yunji looked at him up and down and said, a talented person with good strength. Fengchen has a good vision. The country lord is absurdly praised, and the juniors are lucky enough to be in the eyes of the empress. Jian Wushuang's respectful attitude finally touched the other party. Yunji smiled and shook his head. No, your strength is really good. Originally it was just polite words, but I didn't expect the other party to insist on it again and again. Jian Wushuang's gaze suddenly changed, and his strength had been seen through by the opponent. The supernatural power of 400,000 is useless no matter how restrained. Luck. Jian Wushuang quickly replied modestly. Yunji heard it and didn't ask much. At this moment, Jian Wushuang took the opportunity to express his doubts and begged the other party to answer. This scene made Yanlong's ancestor very gratified and wanted to take advantage of it. Unfortunately, Jinshen, the little girl, doesn't understand. Otherwise, it would not have been for so long in vain. Let me say something useful. Not for the sake of the country, but also for the sake of yourself. You see, Jian Wushuang stepped forward to fight for it by himself. Jian Wushuang directly expressed his doubts, looking forward to the answer from the Lord Yunji. This is the Lord of the 7 tribulations realm universe, with the origin of divine power. One level with Qishan. He didn't have a chance to come into contact with this level of boss, but this time he was able to get an explanation for free. It's also a great opportunity. Hearing Jian Wushuang's doubts, Lord Yunji nodded and asked indifferently, Your divine power and origin have not yet been condensed. If you want to increase each other, you actually need to reach the tribulation realm, but the secret method can also make up for this defect. It's just that I think your current strength should be reached by the Emperor, and there is no need to waste time studying this secret technique. When you reach the tribulation realm, your divine power and origin will merge, and you can get an increase without the secret technique. Jian Wushuang sighed in his heart, practicing according to the divine power, which is indeed the case. But he is a time-space practitioner. His original space does not integrate divine power, but the birth time. When he reached the tribulation realm, what he cultivated was time. It has nothing to do with divine power. Even in the tribulation realm, he couldn't directly increase his divine power. Now that the other party asked, he simply said it. Lord Yunji, I am not a divine power practitioner, but a heritage, the origin of time and space for cultivation. Hear the word time and space. Yunji frowned slightly. The ancestor Yanlong was also a little puzzled. Jin Chun is a little curious. She still doesn't know what time and space represent. The ancestor Yanlong couldn't help but said, You are so powerful. How can it be the time and space for cultivation? This may be because of my special physique. After Jian Wushuang finished speaking, he slowly got up. Aeration directly used the ancient changes. At this time, the eternal change, the strength is no different from normal. Divine power has caught up with his original combat power. That's why he wants the combination of the two. This is the source of the increase of divine power. But it is also the source of the increase of divine power. The supernatural power after the eternal changes. He didn't dare to think about it anymore. The combat power will soar to another level. The three of them were all taken aback when they saw the blue breath on Jian Wushuang's body. Jin Chun had seen it at that time, and was not too surprised. But when he saw it again, he still felt a little weird. The emperor would be so strong. The ancestor Yanlong had heard of Jian Wushuang in the past, and this time he was surprised to see Jian Wushuang explode. Sure enough, listening to the scene is worse than watching the scene. Jian Wushuang's strength was stronger than the rumors. The Lord Yunji saw that Jian Wushuang in this form consumes a lot of money, and it is not as powerful as it was when he displayed his supernatural power in the normal state. End of this chapter. Chapter 5749. Call. Jian Wushuang collected this form. It is indeed very expensive, but when they grow up, they are more powerful than divine power, and the upper limit is different. It doesn't make sense with these people, so there is no need to say it. Just need to help him answer. This sentence is true to compare the differences, and do not seek each other. Your state just consumed so much, but you are obsessed with time and space together. It seems that you have a lot of opportunity. It is not impossible to combine time and space with divine power. It is just that the price is very high. My heart disease, after going to the tribulation realm. Lord Yunji answered indifferently. However, Jian Wushuang insisted and said firmly, Only by being able to merge, I will not hesitate. There is courage. The Lord Yunji praised. The ancestor Yanlong was also pleased and encouraged. Jian Wushuang, you have such a firm path. In the future, the Yu Kingdom will not become your shackles, but will be your help. At this time, the ancestor Yanlong did not forget to paint Jian Wushuang. Jin Chun didn't feel anything when he arrived, but felt that Jian Wushuang was stronger than her now. After the Lord of the Universe, it would be different. The bottom of my heart is still not giving up. Since you keep insisting, I will tell you a way. I don't know if you can succeed, and you need a foreign object, which is not too precious. I have a good friend in Shirgua. He should still have it. Quite a few. If you are in a hurry, you can visit him directly. Bring this piece of uncut jade, and he will understand it. After the country Lord Yunji finished speaking, he held Wen Yu and entered the method of fusion of divine power into jade. Inside, Jian Wushuang quickly took it if he had won the treasure. The lord of the country is great, the kid will never forget it. If there is a need in the future, Jian Wushuang must be sad. This sentence is true. The grace of giving karma, no matter where it is greater than heaven. Same as parents. The Lord Yunji smiled and looked at Jin Chen, but the words were for Jian Wushuang. I don't need your front and rear horses, as long as you treat this girl well. As soon as he finished speaking, he thought of something and added, You owe Jin Chen a favor. She could see that Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen had cause and effect, but they were not Taoists. It should be nominal. It's just that you can't directly ask about this kind of thing. That's why I changed my mouth. After Jian Wushuang heard this, the corners of his eyes moved, and he agreed. From the bottom of my heart, I also thought to myself that it should be the Lord Yunji, who knew that he was just playing with Jin Chen. After being seated again, after a short while, Lord Yunji seemed to have received a voice from someone, frowned and left first. He also told Jin Chen that he would spend a few days in the daughter country, and then talk to each other when they are finished. Jian Wushuang also took advantage of this opportunity to go to Shi Kingdom. He directly absorbed the information in that piece of Wenyu, and he was also preparing to cultivate. The senior who went to visit Shirgua was the Lord of the Universe in the Six Tribulations realm. But he was not from Shirgua, or even a strong man in Gumu continent. It's just that one of the seniors was a casual cultivator and had no fixed residence, so he settled in Shirgua. He happened to be refining the sword blank, and he got 2 birds with 1 stone. You can even use Witch Senior to help you find a master of casting. It's a multitude of things in one fell swoop. Ancestor Yanlong, I will go ahead and go to Stone Country. You don't need to wait for me. I will come back before the holy meeting comes. Well, be careful if necessary. You can use the background of your country. Jin Chen was attracted by his daughter's country when he arrived, and had no interest in where Jian Wushuang was going. It's just that when I heard Shirgua, there was a strange expression in his eyes. Jian Wushuang pretended not to see it at all, and left directly through the air. When he left, in the palace above the capital, 2 other people also left the daughter country. These 2 are the people of the blood-clothed gate. They were originally to win over the daughter of the countries, Lord, to cooperate with the blood-clothed gate, to explore a mysterious realm in the universe. Unexpectedly, it was directly rejected. That secret realm must go by the Lord of the universe. There are only a few masters of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm, and everybody harbors ghosts, and it is the future of every major sect. There is little cooperation with the outside world. Even if it was cooperation, the bloody cloak himself was worried. So I focused on the Yunji country lord, a strong man who has just become the master of the universe of the 7 tribulations realm, is easy to control. But I didn't expect to be rejected directly. The Blood Knife ancestor was very angry. A newly promoted 7 tribulation realm universe master. So arrogant, she will definitely regret it in the future. The red-haired young man couldn't hate it. He was extremely obsessed with which Yunji country master. Seeing his appearance, the ancestor of the Blood Knife seemed to give him a knife. A breath flicked across, and the Blood Knife ancestor research became fascinated. It's a guy from the country of Vietnam. They are so lucky, and they know their daughter, the leader of the country. The ancestor of the Blood Knife was a little jealous. Hearing Yugua, the red-haired youth's eyes changed and became fierce. Elder Bloodblade, why don't we go and kill them and the little lady over? At this time, an evil fire rose in his abdomen, and the Lord Yunji did not dare to infect it. But a princess of Yu Kingdom is not just taking it casually. Even if it was looted, the Yu country did not dare to pursue it. The Blood Knife ancestor was also angry at this time. Originally it was just an angry word, but now I really want to do it. Anyway, they are not from Gumu continent either. No, there is only a breath of air leaving. The little girl you are thinking about probably hasn't left. The ancestor of the Blood Knife shook his head. The red-haired young man was a little disappointed and said, Forget it, an old bone. I don't want to chew. Thanks. It's not the old guy Yanlong. It's an emperor, or the one who shot at you. It seems to be called Jian Wushuang. The strength is pretty good. The Blood Knife ancestor laughed. Hearing that it was Jian Wushuang, the red-haired young man raised his interest again and said, You can kill him. The origin of an emperor Tianjiao. But it's delicious. Chase. The breath of the blood knife ancestor wrapped the red-haired youth, escaped into the void, and began to follow Jian Wushuang. It is unwise to make a move here. It is better to leave the daughter country. Jian Wushuang, who was flying in the void, didn't know that he had been spotted. And it's not a group of people. You reading www. Akanshu. See him, there are still a pair of eyes staring at him. He also knew the owner of these eyes. And it can be said to be very familiar. A pair of copper bell-like eyes, a thin body, and dark green skin. It's not Bobby, who else can it be? The cosmic boat at this time, seeming to be turbulent in time and space, has actually reached the daughter country quietly. The Lord Yunji became the Lord of the Seven Tribulations realm universe. And this matter was quite sensational. It is more sensational than the Holy Meeting. The Holy Society still has some attraction to the strong below the Six Tribulations realm. However, there is no attraction to the powerhouses above the Six Tribulations realm. Chapter 5750. That is to say, when the Holy Meeting opens, the Willow Sacred Tree will also be open for people to visit and practice under the tree. It can also attract some strong people to come. Under the willow tree, it can absorb vitality. It is a good place for spiritual practice. Will attract a lot of Seven Tribulations realm to come. As for the Lord of the Universe in the Seven Tribulations realm, even the Lord of the Universe in the Six Tribulations realm can't look down upon it. Unless you open Wanlu Shinmu. Otherwise, there is nothing worthy of nostalgia in ancient Wood Continent. Most of the time, I went to explore the secret realm of Outland, or some mainland ruins. Among the 10 places, there are many relics. Hui Qing said that the ancient moon remains is one of them. Ancient moon continent. In the past 10 places, it was comparable to the daytime in 9 days. Unfortunately, it has now turned into coke. There are countless prohibitions. The master of the universe in the Seven Tribulations realm was unable to explore in depth. Very few treasures were obtained, and slowly few people came. 9 heavens and 10 earth, very big. There are countless secret realms. The Lord of the Universe in the Six Tribulations realm, and the Lord of the Universe in the Seven Tribulations realm, will both go to trespass. The robbers have no hope of being promoted, but for the sake of vitality, they will also go to some places where vitality is born. It's just less. There are many masters of the universe in the outer domain, and there are many tribulation realms in 9 heavens and 10 earths. This is also why Jian Wushuang encountered very few masters of the universe, and most of them were Sanjia. Back then, in the Eternal Kingdom, he encountered the strongest master of the universe, and he was only in the 4 Tribulations realm. He had never encountered the Lord of the Universe in the 6 Tribulations realm. If it weren't for entering the Jiyue Kingdom, he wouldn't even be able to see the Lord of the 5 Tribulations realm universe. Most people come into contact with people like Wuli. This visit to Yunji Kingdom Lord, the master of the universe of the 7 Tribulations realm, also delayed the blessing of Yu Kingdom. No wonder Elder Mu Chen would be envious. How many powerful people will never see a master of the 7 Tribulations realm universe in their lifetime? Let's talk about it. Flying along the void, he needs 2 hours to leave the daughter country. It takes 3 days to get to Shirgua. It's already fast. He didn't conceal anything now, and all 400,000 divine powers exploded. The blood knife ancestor who followed behind frowned. He didn't expect Jian Wushuang to have 400,000 times the supernatural power. Although he was a powerhouse of the 7 Tribulations realm, just like the Lord Yunji. But the Lord Yunji is the Lord of the universe. Vision and perception are all different. The Lord of the universe is to release, and the robbery is to shrink. The universe is like a blooming flower. The catastrophe is the withered flower. This world is like this. There will be blooming, there will be withering. Since ancient times, throughout the long river of time and space, there have also been 3 superpowers who have truly lived forever. Such a strong person is rarely encountered. Even the master of the universe in the 8 Tribulations realm could not see it. It belongs to the existence of Shenlong seeing the end, but not the head. Jian Wushuang himself did not dare to think so far. The master of time and space in the fantasy should be at that level. Travel time and space. Today, he has initially grasped some of the origin of time. The road to time and space is still far away. In an instant, his figure was constantly shifting in the void. Jian Wushuang's deity was taken aback for a moment. He seemed to feel another self. Is his clone? He could feel that breath as long as it was not far apart. How can I appear here? Jian Wushuang was shocked. According to his speculation, the clone followed Bobby D and should have left Gumu continent. How could I be near him in an instant? At this time, his deity was in the territory of the Magic Kingdom of the 16 Kingdoms of Grass. There is still some distance from Shurgua. Feeling the breath of his own clone, it also proves that Bobby D is nearby. He quickly compressed his breath, restrained his vitality, and then fell to the ground. The moment he disappeared, the two blood-clothed men, who were chasing after them, had their eyes flickering. The blood knife ancestor said strangely, "He seems to have found us?" His eyes kept staring at Jian Wushuang's position, although it is impossible to detect it now, but it also knows the approximate location. The breath on his body shook, and the red-haired young man instantly reached the place where Jian Wushuang disappeared. It's weird that I can't feel the breath anymore. The blood knife ancestor frowned. The red-haired young man was also very surprised, and said, "An emperor can hide his aura to this extent. In front of a 7 tribulations realm, it is still possible to cover up the breath without being discovered. I am afraid that only the Lord of the Universe in the 5 tribulations realm can do it." So the red-haired young man was very surprised. He didn't even have the confidence, hiding in front of the 7 tribulations realm, and still not being discovered. The ability of an emperor to do this not only surprised him, but also made him very jealous. It's no use concealing it. This place is so big. The 7 tribulations realm can be destroyed instantly. You can't hide. It can be hidden without being discovered by the 7 tribulation realm powerhouses. But the strength does not have the 7 tribulations realm. Find out it's dead. But they didn't know that Jian Wushuang was hiding from these two at all, but hiding from the terrifying Bobby D. Jian Wushuang, who hides into a turbulent flow, rushes along the direction of the wind. Long ago, no longer in the original position. Now he is completely hidden and unable to conduct large-scale investigations. I didn't know that he was being chased by 2 parties at the same time. What he is most worried about now is Bobby D. If the deity falls into the hands of Emperor Bobby, it is over. On the blood knife ancestor's side, he didn't know that there was still a super existence here. Standing in the void with one hand behind him, he immediately shouted angrily, I really thought it covered my breath. I didn't know you were here?" This angry shout made the entire Devil Kingdom tremble. The powerhouses of the Devil Kingdom appeared one after another, but no one dared to check it. "Ancestor, are you a powerhouse in the 7 tribulations realm?" In the Demon King capital, a group of robbers are waiting for the ancestors to speak. Faced with the sudden emergence of the strong, they were also panicked. "Don't be messed up. It shouldn't be aimed at my demon country. Just treat it as if you haven't seen it." The ancestors of the Devil Kingdom chose forbearance. He is also a 7 tribulations realm himself, but now he has too little vitality, and the price of his actions is too high. As long as a strong stranger does not threaten the capital, he will not take action. As for the master of the universe of the Demon Kingdom, is only digital, and the strongest is only in the 4 tribulations realm, not even as good as the U Kingdom. It belongs to the low period. There is no right to offend a vigorous and many 7 tribulation realm powerhouses. The ancestor of the blood knife did not put the Devil Kingdom in his eyes at all. If the other party dared to come, he would be very rude to kill a strong person of the same level. A lingering 7 tribulations realm is not as threatening as a 6 tribulations realm master of the universe. Inside the spaceboat, Bobby and Dylan are both in the control room. At this time, their position is in the Devil Kingdom. The target is not here, but the country of daughters. The anger just now shocked this terrifying existence. Chapter 57-51. Bobby D is also very knowledgeable. This is the first time I have seen such a fearless death. Thanks Tusk, he was able to discover the cosmic boat. His strength is good. Bobby D shook the strange vessel in his hand. At this time, he thought that the blood knife ancestor was talking about the universe boat. It's no wonder that he was wrong. But even though the current cosmic arc is still in the deep void, a cosmic master above the 5 tribulations realm can observe this behemoth for a little while. The blood knife ancestor of the 7 tribulations realm found that it was also normal. The blood knife ancestor failed to cross the robbery in a very short time. The vitality in the body is also abundant, far from reaching the point where you need to sleep. This combat power is no less than the 7 tribulations realm of the Gumu sect. Standing behind Emperor Bobby, Dylan saw the blood knife ancestor in the crystal ball, with killing intent in his eyes. I don't know how to live or die. The current Dylan, once again transformed by Bobby D, is terribly strong. There is also a chance of winning against the ancestor of the blood knife, the top powerhouse of the 7 tribulations realm. Today, Emperor Bobby has created a rudimentary method for the cultivation of the powerful. Dylan is the first. In addition to Qi Jiuxiao, and the soul of the Emperor, Dylan is the strongest fighter under Bobby Emperor. Dylan, who has sword and strength, also wants to show his strength. At this time, the blood knife ancestor in front of him is a good opponent, and he pleaded, "Dear Lord Babidi, please let me be with that person. War, just need a stick of incense, I can kill him." Haha, are you very confident in your own strength? Babidi sneered, then nodded, pointed his finger, and then took a circle at Dylan's feet, and Dylan disappeared into the control room. In the void the cosmic boat also stopped. The Soul Tiandi and the others also felt an aura rising, and they walked out of the secret room one after another, and Jian Wushuang's clone was no exception. Through the huge French windows, they can see the void of the outside world. When Jian Wushuang saw people from outside, he was stunned. It's him. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief after seeing the other side's appearance. Bobby Emperor probably didn't deal with him. It's just that he didn't expect why Babidi suddenly appeared here. It should be a matter of the daughter country, because now there is no need for Emperor Bobby to be so fanatical for a 7 tribulation realm powerhouse. Qi Jiuxiao's strength can definitely rank in the top 3 in the entire Gumu continent. Half a step in the 9 tribulations realm. Even if you encounter the master of the universe at the peak of the 8 tribulations realm, you are not afraid. Even in the right cosmic dojo, there is a complete battle. With such a powerful helper, Bobby Emperor should look down upon these gangsters. What kind of blood knife ancestor is even Haitian can be destroyed? And now Bobby Emperor actually let Dylan play. Many people are very puzzled. Dylan's strength they know, at most 7 catastrophes. I'm afraid many opponents. When they felt the rising breath, they all understood. The method of Bobby D has been created, because the strength of Bobby D is constantly rising. But there is no vitality in the body. This has already explained the problem. Master Bobby, the Soul Tiandi looked at the core compartment. Now these people they are no longer lost but have an endless future. Once they get this method they will rise again. Especially the Soul Heaven Emperor. He now has the power of the 8 tribulations realm, and once he obtains the method, he can step into the 8 tribulations realm steadily. Even the ordinary combat power of the 8 tribulations realm is much stronger than the original half-step, and it can continue to grow stronger. At this time, their hearts are filled with joy. It's overwhelming. Sure enough, it was right with Bobby D. They were the first group of strong men to take refuge in Bobby D, and they will also be intensively cultivated in the future. This method allows them all to enter the 8 tribulations realm. Dylan now has the top combat power in the 7 tribulations realm. The outside world is empty. Dylan was dressed in weird clothes, the same style as Barbie, with a blue skin behind him, his forehead with tentacles that hadn't fully grown out, and sharp ears. His appearance changed the eyes of the blood knife ancestor. 7 tribulations. But when he looked at Dylan now, he could only see that Dylan had the ordinary combat power of the 7 tribulations realm. Although he was a little surprised, he didn't panic either. Huh, are you a strong man in the Devil Kingdom? The blood knife ancestor stood high above him and didn't put Dylan in his eyes at all. The red-haired young man also held his head proudly. The ordinary Seven Tribulations realm is indeed nothing to be afraid of. Dylan looked at these two people, but nothing changed. Seeing that Dylan didn't answer, the blood knife ancestor frowned, then looked at the red-haired youth and smiled. It looks like a fool. Haha. The red-haired young man also laughed wildly. The ancestor of the blood knife directly drew out the blood knife of 10,000 feet, and his figure continued to climb. His left hand condensed a wave of 1,000,000 divine power at will, and directly threw it towards the mainland below. You want to stop me? You can do it at any time. The blood knife ancestor didn't care. His top combat power in the Seven Tribulations realm is not afraid of the ancient Wood continent, except for the masters of the universe and the flame gods. Even the Shimu king, he is fearless. Dylan clenched his fists in both hands, ignored the arrogant blood knife ancestor, but began to explode the power of death in his body. The power of death runs wildly, and his divine power is constantly erupting. The blood knife ancestor was stunned. He saw Dylan's strength very clearly. The Seven Tribulations realm was not the lord of the universe. Logically speaking, no matter how much vitality there is in the body, it cannot break out again. Why the other party is constantly getting stronger, just like the Lord of the Universe. Unwilling to do it, Dylan ignored it, and his divine power rose directly from 1,000,000 to 1.5 million. Feeling the divine power surging in his body, the constant sensation made him crazy. The blood knife ancestor was completely shocked. The voice trembled and said, 1.5 million supernatural powers? In the Seven Tribulations realm, the bottom line is more than 1,000,000 supernatural powers. The power of 1.5 million is nothing. It's just that Dylan's outbreak is very life-consuming. The blood knife ancestor didn't dare to play like this, but he didn't know that Dylan now uses the power of death completely and does not live on vitality at all. Dylan leaked a sneer at this time, stretched out 2 fingers, and spoke to the blood knife ancestor for the first time. My peak is 2 million supernatural powers, Sky. The blood knife ancestor was shocked, and then thought of something disdainfully said, my peak, there are still 3 million. Obviously he was a little unwilling to believe it. 2 million supernatural powers. That is the normal divine power of the universe master of the Seven Tribulations realm. His current divine power can also burst to 1.8 million, which is considered the top combat power of the Seven Tribulations realm. When I was the Lord of the Universe, the normal state was more than 2 million, and the peak of 3 million was no problem. Chapter 57-52. But in the Seven Tribulations realm, without the blessings of the universe, it is still a bit difficult to think about 2 million. If the universe collapsed, it would be fine. He couldn't do it now. Naturally, he didn't believe Dylan could do it. He regarded Dylan as a powerhouse in the Devil Country, and he didn't look down upon it. Even if it broke out with 1.5 million supernatural powers, 1.5 million is enough to deal with this kind of loose robbery of you. Dylan shot directly as soon as he finished his voice. The figure broke out unconsciously, and directly transformed into a huge size. Otherwise, it is not enough to carry more than 1 million divine power, unless it is the origin or the physical body is extremely special, such as special life. The blood knife ancestor immediately yelled, and threw the red-haired young man into the turbulent flow of time and space, reminding him, that kid should have escaped. You take the opportunity to chase him, and this person will be handed over to me. Ancestor, be careful. The red-haired young man replied calmly chasing Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang's clone is to watch this scene steadily, and his deity appeared on the border of the demon kingdom, and stopped by the way. He has to wait for a red-haired young man, a master of the universe in the 4 Tribulations realm. There is nothing to be afraid of. At that time, lead the opponent into the Stone Country, stay away from Emperor Bobby, and it will not be too late to start. It's just that the opponent is not pleasing to the eye, so I just practiced my hand. He hadn't used the 400,000 supernatural power yet. Seeing Dylan and Blood Knife each erupt, his hands were itchy. The match between Dylan and the Blood Knife ancestor was extremely exciting. Jian Wushuang's deity waited while watching through the clone. Above the void, a white breath burst. 2 tens of thousands of feet, like a ghost flashing around. Jian Wushuang watched the excitement, but he couldn't trace the point of each shot of the two. Can only watch the excitement. The Soul Tiandi and the others were really excited. Dylan's divine power, although it has not been exploded, but he is supported by the power of death, and his divine power is unlimited. On the other hand, the top power of the 7 tribulations realm cannot support such a large consumption at all. It will only become weaker and weaker. Diluan has adapted to his current divine power, and has begun to suppress the other party. The Soul Tiandi whispered from the side. Everyone nodded frequently. Jian Wushuang was an emperor. He could understand, but he could not understand. You can only see the afterimages left behind after each fight between the two. Now this piece of emptiness is almost full of afterimages. Full of millions of Tao. Every afterimage is the image left behind when the two fight each other. Because the speed is too fast, it even affects time, causing their bodies to break through the dimension of space and go to another place. But the shadow is still in its original position. Time is too late to react. The powerhouse with 1,000,000 supernatural powers is really powerful and terrifying. Jian Wushuang looked shocked. The battle at this time is not like the one in the Eternal Kingdom. When the Soul Heaven Emperor made his move and charged up, he could see clearly, and he could also feel the terrifying aura of the 8 tribulations realm. But now it's different. Now they are 2 powerful men of equal strength, fighting each other. The time in the Eternal Kingdom was a unilateral crush. Look, Dylan is breaking out again. Everyone's eyes moved again. Jian Wushuang was desperately looking for it. This time Dylan stopped his figure, folded his hands, and then raised it to the sky with a loud shout. The surrounding void and countless shadows instantly shattered. Ha! Dylan was covered with electric arcs, his figure shrank, and his power exploded. The supernatural power of 2 million was fully revealed. The Blood Knife ancestor was panting at this time, and the time when the two fought a stick of incense. Each time they fought against each other with high intensity, each time they wished to tilt their whole body divine power. This kind of battle seldom played, after his universe collapsed. Happiness is very enjoyable, and he also shocked Dylan's madness. Foul offense. He doesn't care about his own vitality. From disdain to shock. Now he is a little desperate. You are the Lord of the universe. The Blood Knife ancestor was flustered, his breath was unstable, his chest was up and down, his throat was sweet, and he spouted blood. After Dylan broke out, he slowly walked towards the Blood Knife ancestor, ignored the opponent's surprise, and said to himself, "The time for a stick of incense is coming soon." It seemed to walk slowly, but the speed was astonishingly fast. With a punch, it directly smashed the blood cloak on the Blood Knife ancestor. Puff! The Blood Knife's eyes shrank, and his divine power continued to decline. From 1.8 million to 1.5 million, the blood spewed out, and it fell to about 1 million. Before he could react, it was another punch. Hit the front door of the Blood Knife ancestor. With this punch, the Blood Knife ancestor completely lost his combat power. Dead. Dylan is like a demon in the slaughter, no one can stop him, and he feels full of oppression. In his hand, a blood-colored diamond realm condensed, piercing directly towards the chest of the Blood Knife ancestor. At this moment, the Blood Knife ancestor exhausted his breath and desperately blocked it. The blood knife lay across his chest. At the same time, he used the transmission treasure to inform the blood-clothed door of the things in this place. Dark days. The master of the blood-clothed door. The contemporary top cosmic master of the 7 tribulations realm. He is also the father of the red-haired youth. What, there is a death crisis in the blood knife, and Shower is here too. The blood-clothed sect master frowned. Haitian, the strongest 8-star sect. The person in charge of the blood-clothed door. The strongest family, the Lord of the Night family. At this moment, the eyes flickered. And the next moment there was a communication token. which informed another super powerhouse in Guma continent, a powerhouse who also had some connections with him. The only one who can help him now is that person, although somewhat reluctant, a top elder in the Seven Tribulations realm, and his son, are still in Guma continent. If the blood knife died, his son would also die. The news came out. Ancient Wood continent, daughter country, in an exquisite small courtyard. A middle-aged man with a long and narrow body trembles when he sees the content on the token. Yi Lingyun, would you also beg me? Taiden looked forward to leaking an undetectable dark smile. At the beginning, the two were fighting so fiercely, he kept beating the young patriarch of Haishan's first family. It was also because of this incident that he was squeezed out by He Tian and came to Guma continent. Although he entered the Guyue divine sect, he was not afraid of someone asking for trouble. It's just that He Tian is completely controlled by Yejia, and Guyu Xinjiao can't help it. So he took the initiative to apply and came to Guma continent. Yi Lingyun. He didn't treat the opponent as an opponent, but the opponent has always regarded him as an opponent. I didn't expect to beg him this time. I'm going out for a trip. You are waiting here. If any country lord comes, he will say that I have something to leave for a few days. Tai the courageous confession, then tore the void and left the daughter country directly. It can almost be said that he was in the void of the demon kingdom in an instant. Not good. Sol Tiandi and others reacted fastest. But they cannot go out directly in the spacecraft. At this time, Emperor Bobby also noticed the incoming person, with a single finger, and directly led the Sol Tiandi and others out of the spaceship. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.